What's going on, guys? It's Creator here, back for a new episode of Creator Talks. This is episode 19. This is probably the most anticipated episode I've been waiting to do for a while now, because it's part two. Because part one was so good, I had to end it because we probably talked for like a good 8 hours. But part two of my interview with BlackAreaGaming. Yes, we will be talking about wrestling, but first, just to make sure I get my main points out of the way, we're going to be talking about 3 questions I usually ask my guest here. But once we get that out of the way, trust me, we'll be talking about wrestling. We'll especially talk about WrestleMania. Oh, before that, what's up, BlackAreaGaming? How you been? I know it's been a while.
Not bad. Exhausted from WrestleMania, but it's been good. This has been a long time, for a month now.
Yes, definitely. But again, we're gonna hold our thoughts about the whole show. We're gonna run through the whole card and what our thoughts about it is. But first, let me just ask you, what made you actually start a YouTube channel to begin with?
YouTube has always been a thing that my hobby. I think so. The first part, it's a case of I'm on YouTube at least twice or 3 times a day, and it's just a case of I thought there's certain content I wanted to out just to basically have fun, and that ended up happening. The thing was that like a couple of my mates actually started doing around the same time, collabed on a couple of things, and it was a really good time.
So, like, did you have any like inspiration to do YouTube besides your friends, or like, did you see other like past like bigger YouTubers do it, and you're like, oh, I want to try something like this, or like you just saw your friends doing it? And
Well, I think start a YouTube channel, do take inspiration from like bigger YouTubers. I'm a bit in the early days, because it's that kind of thing where as you get older, you go through all your old subscription, just get rid of them. And it was, I think, I can't remember who exactly it was that originally wanted me to start YouTube. But I think it was someone like the likes of KSI and those kind of, like, especially the British guys, because it was obviously in the early days of YouTube, it was mostly the big American YouTubers who were like getting all the fame, and guys like KSI, although like his general consensus content's gone down, he was a big inspiration for me and a lot of other British guys. It was like, this guy is from the same country as I am. It's not just the Americans who can make it big on this platform.
That is actually true, yes, because the biggest people I'm from the United States, so that really does say a lot about how big YouTube is, and is a worldwide thing. It's not just America. I mean, it did start in America, but obviously expanded more of an audience. Because hell, actually, it's funny because most of my audience is from Thailand. Most people watch my videos from Thailand for some reason. I was like, okay, America is actually the 5th. Yeah. It's actually ranked 5th. It's Thailand, Sweden, Japan. I forgot the one before that. Then it's America. So actually, more people outside of America actually watch my videos more than people inside of America, which really says a lot. Yeah. So yeah, no, I definitely.
Analytics, it was the United Kingdom, US, Canada, and then there's like it's like Brazil or someone like that. I can't remember exactly what the 4th tier one was, but that's the kind of my analytics. But it's actually quite funny that we're talking like that, in the early days the biggest YouTubers were American, and the biggest YouTuber on the platform is people like Swedish or something. I can never fucking remember. I don't like the guy, so I just don't care about him.
Yeah, but now it's just we have a whole spew of people. Like, I remember getting to 1 million subscribers, like that was a dream, but now getting 1 million subscribers to most people is nothing, because we have people surpass that. They have 10 million, 34 million, or like PewDiePie case 50 million.
Yeah. There was an interesting point that I found. It was brought up a couple of years ago. I can't remember who it was that said it, but they were saying that the threshold of, like, because back in the day, like in the early days of YouTube, getting to kind of like 10,000 subscribers, at that point, that's when you just kept on growing, and that's when you became really big. Now that threshold is getting higher and higher and higher. It's actually harder for the new up and comers, the younger guys, to get to that level, because it's like first again it went to 50,000, then it went to 100,000, then it's like 500,000, and just to be able to do this as a full-time job.
Oh yeah, you have to have it. Yeah, yeah, basically, if you're not 500,000 subscribers or more, you can't really consider this a full-time job because you won't
exactly.
it's hard. It's harder now because there's a bunch more people. And I think the real issue with that now is not really, YouTube was about regular, ordinary people you see across the street from your house doing stuff. Now you have freaking Hollywood having YouTube channels.
That's
the
problem that, like, especially on the homepage, it's you know, even if you've just like a blank YouTube page, homepage, it's like recommended channels. You've got stuff like you know, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, like Vivo, like all these kind of Vivo channels. It's recommended channels when you've only just started come onto the platform, and it also doesn't help that it's getting harder and harder to actually get noticed in on YouTube. Like, I know YouTube tried with their whole, you know, like smaller guys.
Yeah.
But that the minimum requirement of that was 1,000 subscribers. Like a guy like me, a guy like Tap Engineer who've had on the show before, we're like even low on that point. It's so difficult for guys like myself and him to actually, you know, get recognized as audience like that's significant, because I'm I think it's about 28 subscribers I'm sat on right now, and I'm really happy that 28 people go and check it out and want to see my content. But people who I'm so thankful for it get bigger.
Oh yeah, I completely agree with you, because you know, I'm that big myself. I used to have like barely reaching 50 subscribers. And now that's the main reason why I do this podcast, because I know how hard it is for us to get noticed. So if I can even try with my fan base, even though it's small, my fan base, to get to see other people, because again, we are just as, in my opinion, we are just as good as the top YouTubers. We just don't have a big platform to show it. That's my point. So it's like, if I could just get my viewers to watch other people's viewers, and then your viewers watch my viewers, like, that's how it grows. That's how it starts. And then more people look at it, and then
is that there's always this you know, you see some of the, I would say I've seen like the odd snob-nosed YouTuber who's got like 25,000 subscribers, for example, saying, you know, the reason it's difficult for these smaller guys is because the content's not of a good quality. When the fact of the matter is everyone's had to start at that level.
Exactly.
My for example, may not be on the same kind of level as a guy like KSI, as a guy like PewDiePie, but they all had to start at that exact same level.
We all did. Hell, I was taking pictures. You know, I first recorded videos on my DSi.
Yeah, I used to do it on a small little camera phone that was stacked on top of loads of games.
Exactly. That's how I started.
A controller stuff behind it.
Yeah, so I was like, it doesn't even matter. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as like your people like. Obviously, 29 people like your stuff regardless. So
yeah,
that's why they subscribe to you. So at the end of the day, it's not. Yes, quality is one thing, but it's more about your personality. At the end of the day,
yeah,
it doesn't matter. Like, you can have the shittiest camera, in my opinion. If I find you funny, entertaining, I'm going to subscribe to you.
It's this was a point. I think it was like, I'm trying to remember who it was now, that said that like, especially gaming YouTubers, it's people don't really come to the channel for the specific game. Like, they could go all over the platform for it. There are literally millions of
game
YouTubers do a game, but the reason they come to your channel is for the personality, and that's
exactly
that. I'd say a lot of people forget, like, when you've got the these guys doing, like, you know, the FIFA community, you've got guys going, oh, big pack openings and all that kind of stuff. It's like, doing what you think is, they go all over the platform for that kind of stuff. If you give yourself a personality, if you try and stand out, if you do something unique, then you're going to get recognized.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, you are definitely right. Again, at the end of the day, it's about personality. Again, PewDiePie, to a casual person, he might not seem like the best of the best person, but because his personality attracts his audience. I don't know how old his audience is, but like he obviously has the majority of the audience that subscribe to him. They love his personality. Trust me, at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure there's a good 1,000 people that do the exact same thing he does, but it's just his personality that like makes it different.
What quite interesting is that you've got the bigger YouTubers, as I said, guys like KSI, guys like PewDiePie, guys like, I'm trying to think of another big YouTuber, but they're the two I'll give an example for. Their audiences are largely
kids.
Are largely kids who are like aged, kind of like 8 to 14, for example. And it's this may like massively derail, but it's like what the whole discussion that came up when PewDiePie was dropped by YouTube and that whole thing. Was it Corey? But it was an argument that was being made is that he has a very impressionable audience that those kind of views may it's likely they wouldn't, but there's a possibility they may pass on because of at that age obviously very impressionable.
Oh yeah, you're right. I mean, you see here's how I look at it. Like that's why gaming channels, that's why I see like hit or miss. You see like have the top gaming channel because again, kids love games. They also like to hear somebody who seems cool and funny, and that would attract them to actually watch the person. Like that's why Minecraft is so big. Kids love Minecraft, and they get to see other people who have like a cool personality to them. That's why they have such a high score. That's why most top YouTube gamers are mostly I'll say majority of them are either Minecraft or they will play those types of games like Minecraft. It used to be Call of Duty, but not anymore. But I'll say like I think Minecraft took over in terms of.
Well, I was going to say that like Minecraft has always been like Minecraft pretty much. YouTube didn't exist as big of a game as it is, and I personally think that if Minecraft didn't happen and the coverage didn't occur, then YouTube might not be as big as it is because you had all these big guys covering it. But quickly diving into the topic of kind of potentially YouTube responsibility. There's a very good podcast between two British guys. One's channel is Doc Career Mode YouTuber, and the other is by a guy called Dr. Benji, who does Football Manager. They talked about the responsibility of YouTubers because the thing they were talking about was there's a YouTuber called JMX who has very, very clickbaity videos. Like for example, every like second video he does is strip FIFA with a porn star. It's like that kind of stuff really grinds my gears because it's like videos aren't age restricted, and Dr. Benji made a great point. The kind of people who are watching this, as I said, are young kids, very early teens, maybe getting toward the end of their child years, who like fanatics. There's lots of swearing and immature things, and they like to see women sat around in their underwear, and it's like that kind of thing. And the problem is, it doesn't help that YouTube doesn't really police this kind of stuff, and it's something I like that I've thought about doing a video or talking about before. Is that YouTube don't police this kind of stuff? They don't. They don't don't age gate it, which it should if the title is Strip FIFA.
Well, you want to
be age restricted.
Well, I mean, like the main reason why is blatantly simple: money. They know that's what gets views, and it's sad because Twitch is almost kind of the same way. It used to be about gaming, but now it's like just girl streamers showing their boobs and shit. Because the Twitch knows that's the crap that makes money, and so like why stop? I mean, sadly, that's the case. But at the end of the day, if I was in YouTube's position, I would have the same mindset. Yes, I know this is probably garbage, but if this is bringing in thousands upon hundred thousands of dollars, why stop? Like, even though it's probably bad and the grades, like, why stop? Why stop? Because like It's like why would I pay more focus on Twitch? Let's say somebody reviewing a toy, if not it's not getting that amount of views compared to them clickbaiting and showing like a pair of tits on their thumbnail, even though it has nothing to do with it, but it got that much attention. Why? I'm like, which one should I really care about more? That's what it is at the end of the day. It's sad.
You bring up the point you make just brings up quite an interesting little debate that we could potentially have. Is that like the whole as I said, I use JMX as an example because he's, in my opinion, the big cult. He's the big, this all happened. YouTube going and put in the advertiser friendly system, where your videos get demonetized if they have stuff like profanity and mention like, which means news. People who do news on YouTube can't really get monetized. That's really interesting. That, for example, that are monetized, I believe. The videos that are talking about, they're talking about, like earthquakes and all that kind of stuff. They're not. System isn't allowing. I say the system. I mean, the YouTube algorithm isn't allowing them to monetize their videos. That's a really, to me, that's a
weird.
bit of
I know it's weird.
It's really odd. Something that has always baffled me that, just monetizes it, but then demonetizes stuff, and that that then connects to all the kind of stuff with the DMCA takedowns and the copyright claims and all that stuff, which has plagued the site over the. I went back and watched you saw it, the YouTube talked about the what they called so-called problem with the subscriptions.
Yeah,
funny.
Yeah, I mean, there's
like, you clearly cut something out. There's something you said in there,
and especially like you don't want to show that you're full of shit. But at the end of the day, it's like. I know it's weird now. Like, who's to say? It's kind of that gray area. Who's to say what is considered advertised friendly? Because to be fair, perfect example. I'll say Adult Swim is the perfect example. The channel Adult Swim. I don't know if you have it in the UK. It's pretty much so pretty much Adult Swim is like after Cartoon Network, after like 10 o'clock, they have this program block called Adult Swim, specifically for like adults, whatever. But they advertise, but they have a bunch of advertisements on there, like for kids stuff, like Lego. Cause that's where they mostly air anime over here. It's like that's where you usually watch animes on Adult Swim. But it's like they have a bunch of advertisements like Legos and shit for stuff that would be for kids, but this is for adult program. So again, but they have kids stuff on here. So it's like, again, what would you consider advertiser friendly? Why would a kid care about? Why would an adult give a shit about Legos? Like, why are you showing them this? If this is for more adult programs. So again, it's like, what is to say what is advertised friendly? How is the Lego commercial considered advertised friendly for something that they're showing like adults that they curse, show nudity, whatever, violence? It's like, how's that advertised friendly? Why would you?
So it's
No, go ahead.
As a kind of I was gonna say as a kind of a side note to this, like I've studied in the past, what time usually advertisers use to push certain products, and it's like with most men's stuff, like for example shipment or video games or for example over here, the best example is that they put that kind of stuff on the adverts kind of sections of football games. It's like because they've identified that that's where most of their target audience will be watching. But that's an interesting point that, like, for Lego, that some adults watching Adult Swim might be interested in like the new Lego set, but the majority aren't, and it's
exactly
no,
you're exactly right about that. It's just. I mean, it's like, so it's weird how YouTube dictates what's considered advertising friendly. Perfect example. Jimmy Kimmel, like the Tonight Show and shit. They curse all the time. But yeah, but you see a bunch of ads roll on there, and they curse all the time. They be talk about politics and whatever, and it's like they don't deem that unadvertiser friendly. So it's like, again, it's not because they don't deem advertiser friendly, and because they're probably big. They have more of a pull than us. Because we're just regular people. That's the point. Yeah, we're just regular people. We're like, our business is us. There's nobody backing it but us. Like, this is our channel is us. Whether they're backed by either CBS, NBC, and they have the money to shut YouTube up, saying, okay, we're pretty much giving you the advertisements here just to put our clips on YouTube or whatever. So at least you could not say, like, and that's the main point. We have no say, we have no pull or say anything to say otherwise. This is not, like, we can't fight them. We have to go to court for that. We won't have the money to do that, no matter how big YouTubers. It's like, we're not gonna waste all that money. Even if we did have the money, we're just normal people. We're not gonna waste the money just going to court just to say if this was fair use or not. It's that double standard that frustrates me a lot. Is that, you know, the quote unquote they have a massive double standard. You know, as you said, things like HBO or ITV, they've got a double standard because on YouTube they can pretty much put out one whether it's got profanity, nudity, all that kind of stuff. Like that, then it instantly gets flagged and removed. You brought up an interesting point about the fact that, you know, we don't want to go to court because we haven't got the money to. That links into something that I've always present on YouTube, but like in the past few years, and like as gaming YouTubers could affect us a lot. Luckily, I haven't been hit by it, and I'm not sure if you have. Is the I know exactly the DMCA and copyright stuff. The fact that it's a gray area. I know it is definitely a gray area. Because basically, for people who don't understand, let me just bring this up real quick. Basically, for us, people who game on YouTube or stream on YouTube, some of the videos, it depends on the company at the end of the day. They'll either content ID, basically means that the video can stay up, but it's just that company is making money off the video instead of yourself. So there's a lot of gaming YouTubers, obviously, who will be pissed off at them because they're not making money off of it. But yet, not one person, at least for gaming wise, you have to go to court about it, because then this will bring up the big debate whether it be like we'll have factual proof either this is considered fair use or not. Because basically, gaming technically, for some people will say it's technically a what was the word I'm looking for? Transparent work, where even though this company owns the game, I'm doing something on my video to make it different. Point and take commentary. I'm commenting over the video. Nobody else can play that video game and have my commentary over it. Technically, that's my original work, and that's where the gray area of if that's technically fair use or not. Technically, in my opinion, it is, because you're changing something. You're taking the source material, you're changing it enough where if a random person would try to do it again, they can't, because it'll be different. It won't be your voice; it'll be their voice, and that's what technically makes it different. But go ahead.
The way that, like, we or influencers, whatever the bloody hell YouTube wants to call us nowadays, is transformative content. Now,
yes, that is what I was looking for.
For example, what I would say, what I do with, I'll give a past example. What I do with FIFA. The way I play FIFA, the way for example, the way I like the transfers I do, or something like that, that is transformative compared to what someone like I'm trying to think of the mode YouTuber, someone like MGH in the FIFA community. I do something different to what he does, so that makes both of our work transformative content.
Exactly.
But what really irks me is guys like Nintendo, because big developers like. I've been surprised about this over the past couple of years. Guys like Sony, EA, I think Microsoft, Phoenix have all given pretty much for YouTube a blanket permission to do whatever we want with their games.
Yes.
Because they've realised that
It's free promotion.
Another form of,
it's free promotion.
It's another form of advertising for them. But they may get extra sales of game, but we're making, for example, not exactly for me, but for the bigger guys, they're making money off of their hard work.
Yes, and that's completely understandable.
So, I have the biggest problems with. Well, I'll talk about them in a second. People at Activision who take down videos if they show a glitch in Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
That's I don't like that. Really, just like it's something. It's used as comedy, and it also shows like something for you to fix in the game. Don't just take down the video.
Well, because again, this is the only part of Nintendo I will agree with why they would content ID, but I don't agree with anything else. Technically, it could hurt their sales of the game. And I will agree with that for one instance, because I remember watching, I forgot which game I watched. I watched somebody play the whole game before it came out. When it came out, I didn't buy it. Because I was like, I already saw somebody play the whole game. Why would I play it? But it's like, I mean, some game I'm going to buy no matter if I watch it or not. Just kind of like those games. But it was like a new game that I never heard of. I watched somebody play a whole playthrough. I was like, well, I'm not going to spend $60 on it now because even though it's a good game, I might buy the sequel. But as of this game, I already saw it. What's the point of me? But that's just me. Yeah. I'm just saying. So I can understand Nintendo's claim to that extent. But for anything else, in terms of like just commenting over, no, I don't agree with that. But
yeah.
I mean,
this is something where we potentially have a nice little discussion. Is that first of all, with as you're saying, with things where they play the entire game through and don't have any transformative content, like don't play in a different way, don't like give any commentary. That's the kind of stuff that, in my opinion, shouldn't be given ad review. I completely understand when publishers, not developers are small indie ones who decide to take, they can fuck off. The publisher, I completely understand why they the videos when no transformative content is like there's no commentary or anything like that. I understand that because you're pretty much you're
literally like stealing their like you're pretty much stealing at that point.
You're not stealing because like you've paid the money to them, but you're potentially taking money away. Like if it's a very story focused,
exactly.
Where I draw the line, however, is when people play a Nintendo game, this specifically Nintendo game, make it transformative, but because Nintendo feel that they have this mindset of Konami have got this as well. Konami out of this, they've got a mindset of we need to protect our in every way possible. So they take down fan games, they take down fan sites, like the Metroid site got taken down back in August. And as I said, videos on YouTube. Much a case of backward ass thinking company, and the fact that if you sign up for their like creator program, whatever they call it, they take 40% of your revenue. No, I've given you some free promotion, and people might go and buy your game and buy your console to actually help increase your software sales, which are in the toilet at the moment. You don't get to take 40% of my revenue from a video that I have spent hours making, hours editing and creating to be my own.
Now, no, you're right. Now, I will agree. Now, but people don't see what people don't understand about what game YouTubers don't understand. And like I agree with them, but then again, it's at the end of the day, Nintendo has every right to do this. It's just a dick move. It's like I'm not gonna deny the fact that they have every right to like protect, because that's technically their property. Even though it's like you're showcasing their property or whatever, it's like they technically have every right to do it. It's just a dick move to do, because again, you're blatantly you're sabotaging. Like you're pretty much pushing aside the people who bought your game and actually care about you guys. You're pushing them away by pretty much taking money away from them. All they're trying to do is just, so what if they make money off of it? They're playing a game that again, like they enjoy, that you made. So also, and people who watch them, they can say, "Oh yeah, this seems like a cool game. I will buy it." Yeah, it's like again, you're sabotaging. You're pretty much sabotaging them, basically.
Yeah, well, it's like I think I would argue 99.9% of gaming YouTubers have essentially boycotted covering Nintendo products.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't want to get caught by the
Content ID.
Content ID. Now, here's the thing: if Nintendo were to loosen up and be like EA and allow us to do videos, I would cover some Nintendo games, because they've got some interesting little licenses.
They do,
and it's similar to what like I said, Sony Live like opened up, but it's like do with the I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like HD, so whatever it's called. The basically the system they've got in place, which means that you can't, for example, with an Elgato, you can't.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
because
the PS3 has like they have I know exactly what you're talking about. They have like an
it's on
something
their consoles
that stops it. Yeah, you are right about that.
Yeah, if they were to get rid of that, damn right, I would cover a PSP game every now and then, because there are some really good PSP games that I would want to cover. But because of that kind of stuff, because of the of Nintendo's backward ass policy on YouTubers, it's just not gonna happen.
It's funny because I don't know if you know the story, because my brother told it to me. The main reason why, Super Smash Bros., the one that came out, right? The one that just recently came out, Super Smash Brothers. Are you familiar with it? The main reason why that there's no story mode, or one of the main reasons why there's no story mode, is because Nintendo didn't want to, because they blatantly said they didn't want the story to be spoiled on the internet before it came out.
Good luck.
That's exactly what they said. And that's why I took it out. And the main reason for that, because they thought people on YouTube were going to spoil the story for them. And it's like, again, the whole point is Nintendo. Where have you been for like the past 10 years with YouTube? It's like where have you been? It's like they suddenly, my brother said perfectly. It's like they suddenly woke up and realized, oh yeah, there's such thing as the internet.
It's not just YouTube. It's just the internet in general.
It's general, and that's maybe why they took out the. That's why they took out the story mode. That's why they took out the story. I don't think they had no idea that Super Smash Brothers Brawl, the story mode, was on YouTube. I don't think they had no idea.
Yeah, there's a story in Super Smash Brothers.
Brawl, technically, it's like they had story. Technically, I say technically it just wasn't voiced. It was a story to it. It was like more just cinematic cutscenes that made it to a story.
It's like in stuff like Street Fighter and Tekken. It's like, how the bloody hell can you fit a story into a fighting game?
I don't know. I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, Nintendo again. I don't disagree with the fact that Nintendo has every right to do this. It's just a dick move because no other publisher is doing it. It's only them. And again, the only reason why they're doing this is because of the sales of the Wii U. That's the only reason why. That's simply the only reason why they're doing it. Because again, if it wasn't for sales, because again, it started happening the second the Wii U sales after 2000. I think this started happening. I recall this too. It started happening like early 2013 when the Wii U sales weren't doing that good. They was losing profit off it. They was like, oh shit, we had to get our money back somehow. And that's when Content ID started happening. That's when I started to notice, 2013.
Everyone started noticing it, but I think that it's been this way ever since YouTube first begun. I mean, another great example is there was a magazine site published like an entire I won't say series, but a whole collection of official Nintendo magazines from like 1990, and Nintendo took them down because
Why?
because they were claiming it was like, Nintendo, you've not fought over 2 decades,
And now they're just
why are
now
you claiming it
realizing.
now?
I guess they just woke up and realized, oh shit, our shit's on the internet, and it's like, okay.
But I want to come back to a point you said, is that they've got every right, but it's a dick move. Like the way that the law is, they don't have a like. If it's fair use, if we're reviewing it, if we're doing parody, they have no right in the fucking world to try and
but that's my point. We have yet to have a court case that proves that theory either correct or not, and that's the point. Until somebody decides to take Nintendo to court one day and say, yeah, this and the law itself will say this is fair use or not, then again, we're just speaking on purely opinion based. That's why I said technically until they're right. I could be completely wrong, but until they somebody takes them to court, or like as the balls take them to court about it, what is true or not, I don't know.
Can I just disagree with that for a second, because it is written into the law. I can't remember which law it is, but it's says that if you're using something for parody, or I can't remember what the third one is, cannot be sued for like defamation or slander or anything like that, because it's being covered under the Fair Use Act. Like what the third thing is, but it's written into I think it's US and European/UK law that they cannot come after you for that.
Oh,
you
interesting.
do nothing about it.
See, I actually did not know that. Huh. Well, I mean, again, the law is kind of different over here in America. I don't know.
I think it's like for YouTube. I think it's the US law that's the that is held up as like the big thing. Because a lot of people who have got struck with that, like British guys, for example, like Total Biscuit or Jim Sterling, or even guys like Angry Joe, they said, "Don't do this." In the that I am protected under fair use, but as I said, YouTube don't enforce it for some god known reason.
Because again, it makes their money regardless. Whoever's getting the profit, either it's you or the publisher. At the end of the day, YouTube's still gonna cut, so they don't give a shit what happens to it. At the end of the day, as long as that video's still making views, they're gonna get their cut regardless. Like they don't care. And that's the point. It's not. Yeah. It's like YouTube's like the middleman. It's like they don't care what the situation between both parties are. At the end of the day, they know they're just getting their money, whatever it is. It's like they don't give a shit if you the guys are having backlash off of your cut. They already got their cut, so they don't give a shit about what's happening between you guys. Like I think that's what it really comes down to. Why would they put in the effort of carrying off something that they're not getting no money off of? They're not getting money off of your cut. Like they already got the cut at the end of the day. So why even take the extra? Even though they should, we will have a definitive answer to this. Like why would they care if it's like that money situation would not involve them? Yeah, it could hurt them in the long run because you could stop making those videos stop making them views for that. But again, it's just they know, okay, you might stop doing it. We have 2 billion other people on the site that will do probably something similar to that to make their money off of it. So,
right, I've just found it. The kind of fair use thing. So I'm just read it out because as I said, this is something that's very interesting. That, as I said, needs to be or not put forward, but enforced by in law. The that brief. Basically, it says that you material under certain circumstances without having had permission.
Yeah, see, I definitely did not know that. That is actually interesting. Huh. Well, again, this makes me more of a reason why I really wish somebody would go to court about this. So, like, there would be like no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, yeah, it might say, but again, unless we see like actual proof of that. Like, let's do like a recent case about it. It's like they're not going to care.
I think
the only recent case that I know of that it involved YouTube but not YouTube gaming, it was about YouTube, where it's like YouTube did content ID someone, and the person actually won because they was playing Michael Jackson in the background, but it had nothing to do with the video, just that the music was playing, and the person won that case.
Yeah.
So it's like, so that is one thing, but for gaming, we still don't know technically, is that considered transparent or informative work, or like a different kind of work? Like, we still don't know if what commentators are doing is technically different enough work that it could be considered fair use. We still don't technically, in my opinion, I would say that it is, because again, I'm not, there's no way I can go to somebody else's house and see them do the same thing I did, because again, it's different voice, it's different play style.
Yeah,
it's technically different. So it's like, I don't know.
As I said, I found the precedent that is for this law. It's quite funny that this is written into US law, and it is Lens versus Music Corporation from 2008 ruling of the US District Court, California, and then backed up in 2015 by the Supreme Court. Stephanie Lenz posted it on YouTube, a home video of her children dance to Prince's "Let's Go Crazy," is owned by Universal Music Corporation. They then Universal Music Corporation then sent YouTube a takedown notice pursuant to the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, claiming that her video violated the copyright. But basically, it was Stephanie Lenz then said that, you know, she's protected under fair use because it was, I think she parody or something like that, and that, and she won the case. So that's like where the whole precedent of the fair use law comes on.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, again, it's just YouTube is such a gray area when I know there's a clear double standard here of what would be considered unlike demonetization or not considered advertiser friendly. It's also double standard what's fair use. It's like, at the end of the day, I feel like there's some, I just don't think they just don't care. At the end of the day, it's like why put any extra effort? That's the point. They just don't care. Why stop what's making them money? Because I guarantee you, something like this happening, just taken to court, they will see a lot of money lost from this. So it's like, to avoid doing that, they will. Yeah, go ahead.
It's like, as I brought up earlier, the small indie developers. Like, I'll bring up an example. Jim Sterling, who I brought up earlier, he had problems with Digital Homicide because they wanted to take down his videos because he was reviewing their and they was, oh God, what was it? It was either a copy. It wasn't a copyright strike. It was a basically a copyright notice on his videos, which took the videos down, and the video that he had to go through this, you know, YouTube's bloody copyright school for idiots to get his channel back. And it was a case of it down because they didn't like his coverage, even though like it was then proved that he was in the right, it was fair use and all that kind of stuff. That they did it again, and YouTube don't like with it. I don't get why these big problems on the platform that these small indie game developers just don't care for fair use for copyright law, so they just go after YouTubers and the content. And YouTube, it may be an automated system, but surely they've got to change the automated system so that it doesn't accept this, you know, this what's the word I'm trying to say, the kind of example they're trying to give when it fit under.
I'm trying to think of the word too. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the word too.
who does fit under the fair use. I don't get why YouTube don't ban them from being able to make it.
I don't, because I guess on the other hand, they don't want to get on their bad side because they're probably sponsors of YouTube, or not. I mean, well, not indie developer. Like they don't want to get on the bad side, like they're sponsors or whatever. Okay, again, I mean, as you know, like the current situation with YouTube, like advertisers pulling sponsors.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't think they want to get on the bad sides of any company whatsoever. Because again, YouTube started off as just regular people. Now, since companies are involved and Hollywood's involved, they're obviously going to catch them because that brings them the most money.
Yeah,
they don't give a shit what happens today.
Yeah, YouTube is thought of, and it seems YouTube is trying to become like the new television.
Mm-hmm.
When like is to like have an alternative to TV. How this discussion of like why I got started with YouTube, then became into YouTube's crap sometimes and need to sort them.
Wait, I did not hear anything that you said for some reason. It just blanked out. What did you say?
I said that I like how this the question of why did I start a YouTube channel, and then went into us going into an in-depth discussion for like half an hour on on like YouTube's major problems.
Well, it's because it's an interesting conversation not a lot of people are talking about. Only like the drama channels, but the issues with the drama, but issues like drama channels like Keemstar and Scarce, they just go into a little bit of detail and just on how it will affect them or whatever. It's like they don't actually get the whole premise of the situation, why this is, and like they don't go into detail. They don't say like they only like passively say it just to get the point across, so get their views. Or shit, yeah, YouTube's demonetized video. They just go briefly in it. They don't actually go in depth and say how this is more of a bigger situation than just advertised dropping. Is a whole thing with like again the whole demonetization of what's advertiser friendly. The whole content idea is what it's fair. It's like there's more to it than that. It doesn't affect them because again, they're not gaming channels. All they do is commentate stuff. So it's like their fair use is technically they have no issue with fair use of content ID because it's pretty much just all of them. But in terms of just like gaming or like other shit, like for example, I don't know if you've seen one of my most viewed video is like I did this thing like this show that they did in Japan called Kamen Rider Guy. It's like this action show. I pretty much like I wouldn't say it's a parody. I did like a recreation of that, but I did it my own way. And technically, there's a whole situation like it's a situation like that because I'm using Japanese footage. So I did use some of their Japanese footage, but I also made my own original footage. So I'm still shocked to this day that I'm able to make money off of it. I guess that is technically considered fair use. Any other time, like if I were to like re-upload like a Power Ranger or Kamen Rider video with just their footage, I'll get my ass copyright strike.
Yeah.
But I'm shocked that not only is my video still up, it's my most viewed video, and I'm still making money off of it. Toy, who's the people who owns Kamen Rider, they haven't yet to do anything about it. That's been up for almost 2 years. So it's like I'm shocked. So I guess that's at least I know what I did was technically fair use because what I did, yeah.
It's weird how like because I'm trying to find a way to say this as best as possible, but there are a lot of or I say a lot. There are a couple of Japanese companies. Is that a Japanese company that?
Toy.
And it's a lot. There are a couple of Japanese companies, the ones I already mentioned, Nintendo and Konami, who are very, very backward. Who like for Nintendo, for example, they held back the release of one of their games. And for a couple of days in Europe because they still, I don't think I can't speak. I still don't think they see the world as a global market. They still see it as a regional market where you've got staggered release dates and you can't have release dates on the exact same day.
Which is weird. I never understood that.
Yeah,
it's like why, for example, Fire Emblem Fates. Almost took a year for them to come out over here in America, Fire Emblem Fates. So it's like I don't get that. It's weird.
Like there are some of the I've never played a Final Fantasy game, I know there are a couple of Final Fantasy games that never came over to Western markets.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot which ones. I think it was like the beginning one. I think like Final Fantasy 3 was considered Final Fantasy 1 over here.
Yeah, it was like Final Fantasy 1 more didn't come out in the Western market, something like that.
I think the first, like for example, Earthbound. We never got the original Earthbound. We got Earthbound 2, which was called Earthbound over here. We got Mother 2, which was called Earthbound over here. We technically never got the first one, which was called Mother. We got Mother 2, which we just called our first Earthbound game. It took up until, I think, almost 2 years ago where we finally got the first Earthbound game over here in America. They just refused to release it for some reason. It's weird.
Yeah.
It really is weird. And yet, to this day, we still never got Mother 3 over here. Never got it.
Well, it's like the Konami have got their like pachinko machines, which I don't even like.
I don't even know what that is. What is pachinko? I don't know.
I don't know, but it's like apparently they've got like they released of Metal Gear Solid. I think it was.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
No, Metal Gear Solid 3. That was it. Metal Gear Solid 3 remastered. And it was Castlevania and something else on a pachinko machine. I'm like, what the hell is a pachinko machine? But it's the thing still makes me laugh to this day because I Castlevania on a pachinko machine. They described it as violence. Weirdest trailer in the world.
It was just I don't get it. That's what they're focusing on. They're not focusing on making games. They're focusing on freaking pachinko machines.
Well,
it must make them a lot of. I have to assume it makes them a lot of money. Otherwise, I don't get it.
I've never seen one ever.
I mean, shit. I don't know what to tell them. It's like Konami. I used to love Konami. I used to buy their games, mainly Yu-Gi-Oh games, but still, I used to love playing Konami games. But I don't know what the hell they're doing now.
Maybe some good games.
I just really don't.
Yeah.
It's weird, but yeah, I think we touched on that a lot. You almost said, I'm looking at the time. We'll talk about it for a good hour. So before we get into wrestling, because that's the main reason why we're both here, I just want to ask you, what is your future plans for your channel?
So, depending on this finishes. So I'm just having a look at the games that Konami used to make. Of course, they made Pro Evolution Soccer. I love that. I love those games. Oh, fucking hell no. Anyway, starting recording, I should say. I will be recording the first of a new series called Alphabet of Steam. Mm-hmm. Me going through my Steam library, playing 100 games in my Steam library, depending on how my computer gets on with some of them. So playing most of the games in my Steam library, and basically, because a lot of them I'm playing for the first time, there are, I would say, about 92 of my Steam library that I've never played. It's the kind of thing where I buy them in a sale and I've never played them. Starting with in the series will be ARES, ARES, or spoken, which is a side-scrolling shooter. That'll be the first episode, and that'll go on for, as I said, potentially 100 episodes. It might go shorter depending on how my PC gets on, because there's stuff like I've got both Arkham Asylum and Arkham City in there. I've got like Borderlands 2, so I'm not sure how my computer's going to get on, but it may end up being like 90.
That is interesting. I mean, I don't remember the last time I played any of the Arkham games. So
yeah. Whereas like when you showed my channel screen earlier, as soon as I was thinking that's going to change soon, because it's the kind of thing where I've not uploaded something on the channel for
almost like 3 months.
Last thing I uploaded, was the not even 3 months, longer than that.
Ooh.
It was the end of year podcast I did with my with a good friend of mine. That was the last video I uploaded, and that was in December, I want to say. And it's a case of I kind of, you get to a stage where you want to start, you want to kind of or you want to give it a new lick of paint in terms of the banner will be changing. That's the first thing I'm going to change. That's in production right now, because I've had the same banner since I started the channel, and all that is, if I'm perfectly honest, it's just a screenshot of my. It's just screenshot taken and moved into, and that's just put it on. But if I'm currently in the process in Photoshop of making a proper channel look all nice and new and different.
Well, I mean, I hope to definitely see you make a comeback again, man, and start making videos.
Yeah.
But all right, we finally got those after part 2. We had to get the part 2 to get out those questions out the way. So now at least I can say we got those questions out the way. So now we move on to our main event, WrestleMania 33. WrestleMania 33.
Oh my God, so long.
7 hours. This is the first. Not even wrestling. This is not even the first WrestleMania. This is the first this is the first wrestling event to be a 2-day event, because this went way into 12 o'clock. Because I remember looking at the time, it didn't go, or at least in my time, this was the first WrestleMania to air past midnight Eastern time. This did not go off until like 12:40.
Yeah.
It took a long ass time for this. I sat through it all. 7 hours. 7 hours. I sat through it all.
I can't. I just kind of regret it right now. It's the problem is something that I see constantly is that WWE seem to hate the British fans.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. If it went off 12 o'clock my time, what time to go off? What time to go off in yours?
The pre-show started at 10 o'clock GMT. Long. Then it started at Then the main show started at midnight.
Jesus Christ.
on Monday morning.
Oh,
and it went, of course, till 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was absolutely shattered. I see 5 hours. I didn't. I'll be honest. I didn't watch the Undertaker Roman Reigns match. I was like, I've been here.
I can imagine.
For 6.5 hours. I'm just gonna go to bed.
Well, I mean, like, did you watch it afterwards?
I didn't see the result.
So you have no idea who won. I mean, I'm pretty sure you have an idea.
Yeah. No, I did when I worked like quick on the network. Load up who won. Oh fuck! It was Roman Reigns. God damn it.
Yeah. But we will talk about that at the end. But let's just run down the card real quick. First match was actually the match I was most anticipated for, but it got pushed to pre-show, which I originally had an issue with. But since they had a lot of time with the match, I fairly enjoyed it. I think this was like my third favorite match of the night. So Neville versus Austin Aries for Cruiserweight Championship. Yeah, exactly. It was again. Go ahead.
One slightly horrifying thing was the first snap German suplex from Neville Reed, where Austin didn't tuck his head and landed on the dome.
So bad. That looks so bad. I was actually legit afraid for Austin.
This was legitimately my reaction. On last week. It was like, ow.
No, I know. I was like, when I saw it too. I mean, I'm glad Austin see us, but again, Austin has been doing this for years. So I guess he knew at the last second, since he knew that was not the way it was going to go. I guess. I mean, he was fine. He was able to compete that week. So he must have maneuvered his head just a little bit so it wouldn't be that painful. But I know that must have hurted him getting back there. But yeah, it was actually a great match. Probably if this was on the main show, it probably got cut down because of time. But this was actually I'm so glad it was on a kickoff show because they had all the time in the world to put on that show. I was actually the ending I was not expecting. I heavily thought Austin Aries was going to win because I guess that would be a reason for them to continue to feud because that would have his rematch clause. But I was not expecting that ending, which I mean I loved it because Austin Aries going for the last Chancery. Neville he grabbed him by his injured eye, and that's how he got the advantage.
love that.
Yeah, that was the only. That was the only thing he could have done. Yeah, because that was great storytelling. Because Neville threw everything at Austin Aries, and he just couldn't put him down.
Yeah,
German suplexes and whatever. He just couldn't put him down. So he had to go for that one thing, his injured eye. That's the last thing he could have possibly thought of, and it worked. That's why Neville retained. Go ahead.
I'm really glad that Neville retained the title. I'm really glad that he's still Cruiserweight champion, because this has been the best run of Neville's
career, period.
Of Neville's career in WWE. Yeah. Maybe not in, because I didn't see any of his stuff.
Yeah, I'm saying, but it's kind of WWE. Yes, this is probably WWE hands down
best run of his career.
He could probably hold this title for another year.
Every time he comes out and says he's the king of the cruiserweights, it's so good.
And so far he backed it up. He's one of those champions that actually backed it up. Nobody yet to touch him. Austin Aries came. The only two people I can say came so close: Jack Gallagher and now Austin Aries. They came this close. Yeah, back to back too. Yeah, that's my point. So it's like, and so far I don't know who's gonna stop him now. I mean, obviously, a few Austin Aries isn't over, because if you saw 205 Live, he became the number one contender in the Fatal 4-Way match. So the feud is not over, which I'm so glad, because again, these are probably, besides Grand Metalik, which I'm still waiting for. I see him for one match on 205 Live. Besides Grand Metalik, these are my two favorite cruiserweights on the show, hands down. Austin Aries.
There's something quite interesting in the lead up to the match. Is obviously there was that match on 205 Live, I think it was, between Austin Aries and Noam Dar. And I saw something posted on social media, and I couldn't agree with it more, which said, if Noam Dar jobs up one more time, I'm gonna ... Because it's like, Noam Dar is so fucking good.
Yeah, he's basically the Dolph Ziggler of the cruiserweight division. Well, he's so good, but he's that guy that has to put the other person over.
Yeah.
Same thing right now. I think I'm doing the same thing with Mustafa Ali, because his match against Neville was amazing. On 205 Live. Yeah, I'm talking about his match. Well, if you saw his match, you just try to. I forget. I think it was like 2 weeks before WrestleMania, that episode where he fought Mustafa Ali. It was amazing, that match. He literally took Neville to his limit, but that was still able to pull it out. But that freaking, I forgot what it's called. He did like a springboard. He went to, when Neville was on the top rope trying to pick him up, Mustafa Ali kicked him. Then he did like a spring. He jumped on the second rope. Then he jumped on the top rope. Then he did a freaking. Remember Sin Cara's original finishing move, where he used to take him to the top rope and did like a, what is it called? A spy? I forgot what it was called. You pretty much do like a top rope backflip, but taking the opponent with you. I forgot what it's called though. I will try to find the image. Here, let me try to find the image real quick.
Find the image, I can probably name them.
I forgot what.
So I'm at a point where I'm going
to Sin Cara's page, because he's the one who I first seen him do it. So I'm trying to go to his page real quick so I can know what the hell the finisher was called. Okay. His finishing moves. Sunset flip power. No, it was a sunset
flip.
Oh no, it was like a moonsault slam. I guess that's what it's called. It was a moonsault slam, where it's basically he. Here, I'll actually I'll bring up the video and show it to you right now. Actually, so you'll like what. Yeah, hold on. I'm just gonna show you. If I can, okay, yeah, this move. This is kind of what Mustafa Ali did, but he did like a springboard to get to the top rope. He jumped to the top rope, but this, hold on, I'm about to show it to you. This is what he did. He did that, but that's what he did.
Yeah.
But Mustafa Ali did a little bit different, where he jumped to the top rope, and then he instantly did it. He didn't hold him. He instantly turned it into that. I forgot what it was called.
I think that's like a rope. I think it's called top rope C4.
It probably was something along the lines of that. I forgot what Tom Phillips said on commentary, but yeah. I don't know, but the move was cool.
Yeah.
But my point is, Austin Aries versus Neville was a great match. Again, my third favorite match of the show, and hopefully, again, like I said, this match was either going to make or break the cruiserweight division. I think this won the casual fan was watching this match. I think it won them over with that match. It probably would have been better. It would have been more efficient if it was on the main card. But I understand. But if they would not had the time that they had on the kickoff show, then I'm perfectly fine with it being on the kickoff show. It made It made me tune in kickoff show. Usually I give two shits about the kickoff show. It made me buy my food. I bought my food early just to make sure I would not miss the kickoff show. Yeah. Just for that match alone. So they got me hooked for that one. But next match, which was the Andre John Moore Battle Royal.
What did Mojo have to win?
I mean, I knew with the last three people, I knew for a fact Killian Dane was not going to win it, and I thought maybe
I would have loved it.
I know, but I knew he wasn't. There was no way he was because he was part of Sanity. There's no way he's going to call him up to main roster that fast. There was no way. In the back of my head, I just knew it. And then, I mean, I thought for a split second, I thought maybe Jinder Mahal might have it. Because second Braun Strowman got caught. I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, maybe Jinder Mahal, maybe.
That would have been
I realized that Jinder Mahal was still in. I know. I realized Jinder Mahal was still in. When Braun Strowman, I was like, okay, I guess, maybe. I guess.
It's quite funny to me how now all three members of 3MB are back in the WWE.
Yes. It's so good because Drew McIntyre's back now. It's amazing. It's amazing. And they're all three different brands. And they're all three different brands. Heath Slayer's on Smackdown.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
NXT, they're still calling him Drew McIntyre. Just call him Drew Galloway. I mean, it's what he's the independent team since he's the company. That's how he's made his name. Don't bring him back to a gimmick that.
Well, it's the same.
Don't bring him back to a name that he was originally IC title. He just became a jobber.
It's the same reason why they. Instead of calling him Cash, instead of calling him Chris Hero, they call him Cash Zono because that was their name they came out with him. They want to give somebody else, what you call like Doc Gallows. They turned it back to Luke Gallows because that was their name that they brought from. With so.
Yeah, it's like Tommy End. Which is really weird because at the UK title tournament, they brought him out as Tommy End. They created the whole.
That was weird. Huh? I know it was weird. They call him Tommy End then, but now they call him Aleister Black, which whatever. Whatever, I guess. Yeah, so the Andre, I mean, I personally thought either Braun Strowman or Sami Zayn was gonna win personally, but I guess hey, whatever. Mojo, fuck it. It was a throwaway match in my opinion anyway, but whatever.
I thought Show might have won because his match with Shaq got. I thought he might have won, but as soon as him and Strowman got eliminated and Mark Henry got eliminated, I was like,
yeah, it didn't get a fucking Mojo, yeah.
But
in my heart, I was saying Jinder in my heart. I was like, come on, Jinder.
I was in my heart when it was down when like those three had been eliminated. It was like when it was like the rest of them without Strowman and Show. I was like, come on, Big Damo, come on, Big Damo.
I just knew it. I knew back in my head it wasn't going to happen. It was just what there was no way in hell they were going to do that.
It was so good though because I guarantee the whole arena, most of the arena would have exploded and started chanting Big Damo.
Yeah, because that's who he originally was back in the UK, but
just.
And now, surprisingly, the match I was not expecting at all to be on the pre-show, and because these involve my two favorite current day wrestlers, Dean Ambrose versus Baron Corbin for the Intercontinental title was pushed to the pre-show. Sure. I was not expecting that. I mean, the match was fine in my opinion. It's just what threw me off. I mean, to be honest with you, I really didn't pay attention. I had to rewatch it because I really wasn't even paying attention. Because what just threw me off was it became a pre-show out. It became a pre-show match without it being announced as a pre-show match. It was weird to me.
It's
apparent.
Well, I think that.
Go ahead.
Stipulation was wrong. That was my main problem with the match, and I get why they didn't do it because it was the pre-show. But what a way to get people to watch the pre-show! On the match, because the way the feud had been built up is that it should have been a last man standing match,
or at least a fall counts anywhere in the match.
Because they've taken it to each other in every SmackDown venue they went to. It should have been that, but as soon as like this was announced a match, I knew it was going to be on the pre-show, regardless of whether the women's match was on the pre-show. And if I'm honest, I'm really, really glad that WWE decided to put the SmackDown Women's Title match on the pre-show, on the main show, because I think they deserve it.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. All of them worked hard to get that point. I was disagreeing with that, but I didn't think it was going to be at the expense of Dean Ambrose and Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
It was just weird. It's weird to me too, because on SmackDown, they did the match that they should have done, a street fight for the Intercontinental title. They fought each other in a street fight match. It's like, that's weird to me. It's like, if you already had the match planned on SmackDown, what's the point of even put on WrestleMania and making a normal match?
With the match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, I swear that match was there was a no disqualification match.
Yeah, it was.
Like, that's a match for to main event a pay-per-view.
But they always make Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens fight, despite the fact that they said Battleground was the last time they would ever fight. Yeah. Obviously, that was full of shit because at least once a month they fight each other. So yeah, that was full of shit on that one. But yeah, I mean, again, Dean Ambrose is my favorite current day superstar. Baron Corbin is my current favorite day heel. It was just the fact that what threw me off was it was on the pre-show. I was not expecting that. I knew in the back of my head that one of the shows had to be pushed to the kickoff show since they pushed the women's match to the main show. But I wasn't expected to be Dean Ambrose and Baron Corbin. I was not expecting that.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
It was weird. But now we move on to the main show. The first match was a lot of people was debating it was going to be a good match, but this was actually my second favorite match of the night. AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon.
Oh yeah, of course. I completely forgot what the first match was.
Yeah, it was AJ Styles and Shane McMahon. I was not expecting it to be the first match. I was expecting it to be actually the tag team ladder match, which I'm glad he didn't do that because we'll talk about that later. But yeah, Shane McMahon versus AJ Styles. One hell of a match. Was not expected to be that good. Well, again, anybody in the ring with AJ Styles would be a good match.
That's the point I was going to make up. Is that anyone will struggle to have a bad match with AJ Styles. Styles managed to get a good match out of a guy like Shane McMahon. Well, I respect the fuck out of Shane McMahon, but considering he jumps off high shit and pretty much kills his body, but should have been someone else. It should have been AJ Styles against someone else. Like,
I know.
Happy with John Cena versus AJ Styles on the main, like, on the biggest stage of them all, like the culmination of this feud.
They should have. I know they should have saved the Royal Rumble match for WrestleMania. They should have.
Yeah, and that's where you can either have AJ retain and keep building, or have Cena win his 16th title.
At WrestleMania, exactly. They did a lot of stuff here. Like same thing with Bayley, how they made her break Charlotte's streak at Fastlane instead of WrestleMania.
I've got a lot to talk about that. But we'll get to that in a bit.
But in terms of this match, it was actually very good. Again, the whole point of the match was that this was not no disqualification match. This was a regular wrestling match where Shane McMahon can't do his crazy shit, but somehow he was able to pull it in because the referee was out for like a half an hour. And that was the most weird. The most funniest part of the whole match is the referee clearly saw Shane McMahon grab a trash can. He pretended like he didn't see it. And like he clearly saw that happen. And it's like he was just down for like a good 20 minutes while Shane McMahon did all this shit. And it's just whatever. But my God, that shooting star press. Shane McMahon almost killed himself. I'm surprised they didn't pull it off, but he did. But my God.
Why?
That shooting star press was, yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say about the with the trash cans. It's that weird little, very small part of wrestling kayfabe.
Yes.
Not wrestling kayfabe, of wrestling logic, where the ref, if you hit, you fight. If you grab something and put them near it, and then do a move to them through it.
Exactly.
It's if the referee goes, "Oh, where did that come from?" Oh, well, let's continue.
Right? This is so. Again, it's just I don't know. But again, I guess it's just made for the match itself. But again, AJ Styles won. Obviously, if he didn't win, that would have been something else. I guess no. The reason why he had Wimkin made him turn face, I guess, because the next night on SmackDown, AJ Styles pretty much turned face because he said he didn't want to go to Raw because the whole superstar shakeup, which we will talk about. Yeah, he didn't want to go to SmackDown because he didn't want to go to Raw because SmackDown was the place that he built, which means that he's going to Raw because of that promo. He's definitely going to Raw. But yeah, I mean, I have my thoughts on who's going to what show after this. But yeah, moving on. The match that, again, as I always will say, should have been for the Universal title, but I guess was fine being for the United States title. Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho, United States title.
Chris Jericho is the only man in wrestling who can pull off an inflatable list of Jericho over his shoulder and a scarf that has fucking LED bulbs in it.
Yeah, that scarf was amazing. I legit want that scarf after seeing it. I legit want it. It looks amazing.
I love
that scarf.
I love Chris Jericho. He's amazing.
For 46 years old, he has reinvented himself so many times. I think this is probably one of his best runs, and this was probably one of his best runs in WWE.
Like he said himself, this is in that thing in the Christopher friendship. This has been his best run.
It was hands down. He was just incredible. Ever since it started feud with AJ Styles all the way to now, it was just amazing. Going from to this point,
this is something I probably didn't think about, but I like how like at Royal Rumble when Charlotte did the natural selection onto the apron, that moves onto the apron in kayfabe are protected so highly that ends a match, regardless of if it took him like 10 seconds to get Jericho back in the ring and then pin him. Because of the kayfabe damage that was done by the apron, which is
they say they always say it's the hardest part of the ring. Yeah, so they have to stay true to it.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, it's also that was Kevin Owens' move when he first came in NXT to take out Sami Zayn. So they had to imply that
the back or at SummerSlam, like whenever they do it, a spot like that next, it'll probably be to Roman Reigns and it'll kill it. But I hope they don't continue to end matches, because turn that into, if you do your move onto the apron, that you've won the match, because it's the hardest part of the ring, and then you could build a massive star. Like I don't know. I'm trying to think of someone who massively benefit from a big win.
Well, even though this is unrelated, a perfect example. But I do get your point. It's Ember Moon. They've been building that move, because especially at Takeover. Again, I don't know if you saw Takeover, but that Takeover, they kept that whole match. They kept saying if Ember Moon hits that eclipse, it's over, and they played into the story so perfectly. Because I don't know if I'm spoiling the match for you, but Asuka, she was on her knees, and then and
Asuka won it.
Yeah, Asuka won. I'm saying, but basically what happened was Asuka was on her knees. She saw Ember Moon was about to do the eclipse, and then before that, literally, Asuka threw everything at her, and it wasn't putting that in the room. Second she saw her about to go for the eclipse, she pushed the referee into the ropes and made Ember Moon fall, and that was pretty much the sign of her heel turn, because she literally just pushed him into it, make sure he fall, and then she kicked her in the face, and then she won, because she realized, and I think that started trying to build. If she hits that eclipse, Asuka's reign is over, and Asuka knows this. So that's why she didn't let her do it. So that means, but I do get your point though, where they should build a move around that, saying they hit that move, it's over.
If for example, a really good example is if they do it with, for example, I've got two perfect examples. Number one would be at NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3, Asuka does a suplex or a side slam to Ember on the apron, pushes her back in the ring, goes for the cover, 1-2, Ember Moon kicks out. That builds Ember Moon as this really strong, who like someone like Cena or Zayn, doesn't matter what you throw at them, they're gonna survive.
Exactly.
Or with Ty Dillinger, if he gets in a feud with Dolph Ziggler, for example, or Baron Corbin, say if Baron does deep six onto the apron, or Dolph Ziggler hits the zigzag on the apron, slide Ty Dillinger back in the ring, out. That proves that the guy stop. He will continue fighting.
He will not die. He will not die.
You'll have to kill him to win the match.
Exactly. just kind of like John Cena, but like unlike John Cena, like you legit have to kill Cena, like put a bullet through his head to win the match. Basically, that's really what that means. Same thing, Roman Reigns. You literally would have to like run him over for a car or just something with this guy.
No, with Roman, you got to go more extreme. You got to blow up the world to kill him.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because I don't know. I legit do not know what it would take. Now, I mean, again, we'll talk about it, but it's to the point now is like he's basically God now. I don't know what it would take to put this guy, literally legit put this guy down, but we'll get to that.
With Cena, it takes a simple gunshot. With Roman, it takes destroying the universe.
I don't even think that's enough. I don't know. I legit don't know. But yeah, overall, Kevin Owens is the new United States champion. It was my top 3 matches, but it was a good match in my opinion. It was. Again, I feel like it would have been more. Huh?
With those two, I think with those two, firstly they're both technical wrestlers that you'll struggle to have a bad match between those two.
Yeah, it was definitely a good match. Again, I feel like it would have been more a story to if it was for a Universal title, but again, it is what it is. We'll just move on. Now we move on to probably the match that you want to talk about the most, which is the Fatal 4 elimination match between Bayley and Charlotte.
With Jericho Owens, it better is title for title. It make it the US and
that's my
title.
That would have been so perfect.
That would have been so much better.
Again, they had the best story on Raw. Besides the whole Braun Strowman thing, this was the best. This was the story on. This was the main story for Raw from months. It was Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, their friendship. Like SmackDown, you had AJ Styles and whatever, and The Miz doing whatever. But for Raw, it was Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. This was their show. This was their show. That's the point. This was legit their show.
Literally with a T-shirt saying the Kevin Owens show.
And then for months, that's what it was. Even though at Chris Jericho, it was his show.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, this was Universal title worthy match, but again, whatever. It is what it is. But
Vince likes big guys.
He really does. But yeah, moving on to the Fatal 4 elimination match for the Raw Tag Team title. I mean, I overstepped that. The Fatal 4 match for the women's title. That's what I meant to say. Bayley versus Charlotte versus Sasha.
Elimination match.
So, like, what did you think about it?
Right, settling viewers. This is going to be interesting to say the least. Right, firstly, the match was way too short. Been at least 15-20 minutes long. Those 4 women have put their backsides on the line so many times. It had created so many awesome matches, and they get like 9 minutes to put on a good match. That's Nia Jax gets eliminated. It's like, oh, Sasha's gone. Oh, Charlotte's gone. Oh, Bayley retains. Walked in as women's champion. Charlotte should have walked in as
women's champion. She should have.
And then Bayley can get that because then it's the big thing of not only is the Raw Women's title on the line, but it's the battle of who can break Charlotte's undefeated pay-per-view streak.
Exactly.
The other thing was
no, go ahead.
The final thing I want to say about this was that all 4 women came out looking fucking. Nia Jax walking down the ring looks like she was actually going to get in there and literally kill somebody. Loving face she's supposed to be, like her dad incarnate, especially with the pyrotechnics behind her and that. And Sasha's entrance of WrestleMania, that was so fucking cool.
It was, her riding down. Yeah, it was. Again, I think the best entrances of the night, in my opinion. Well, again, I'm not getting Triple H entrance. I just found it fucking hilarious. Like now, it explains so much as to why they built that ramp. It was specifically for him. It all makes sense now. After that entrance, it just all made sense. It was specifically for him because no other entrance made sense for that long ass ramp. I was wondering why, but when we got Triple H versus Seth Rollins, it made so much sense. It explained it. It was for Triple H's fucking entrance. That was all it was for. He said, "Fuck everybody else." That entrance, he's like, I don't give a shit. It will fuck up everyone else. That entrance is for him.
I swear Triple H and Undertaker's were longer than the Raw Women's title match.
It probably was.
Undertaker's Smackdown Women's title match. Fuck's sake.
Oh yeah. Undertaker's entrance was definitely longer than that match, and Triple H's probably.
Undertaker had to walk from the top of the stage all the way down the ramp. So obviously brought him halfway down. Imagine if you had to walk like that down the entirety of the ramp.
It's 10 minutes. Shit. I mean, it was a sight. You should just rewatch it. It was a sight to see. It was definitely a sight to see. But
now.
Yeah, but for the Raw Women's title match, I mean, it was. Again, if it was more time, I think it would have been told a better story. One issue I have with that is like nothing changed. Sasha didn't turn heel. The way it ended was so weird because Bayley did an Eldro. I mean, I get it because her entrance had Montreal set, but still, that was so weird. That was never part of her finishing move to begin with. So it's like that was so weird to end it like that. Again, Nia Jax, I'm surprised was the first one. I mean, back when I knew it was eliminated, she should have been the second one eliminated. I thought they were the main. I thought, you know what, they told a better story? They eliminated Bayley first. And they're like, oh shit, we're definitely have a new champion now. Yeah.
I really like what they did with the Sasha Bayley Charlotte, basically female Shield.
Yeah, because they knew. Because they knew they couldn't take out Nia Jax, and they knew they couldn't.
And I really like the triple pin because it's like you've got to get bodies on top of Nia Jax to be able to keep her down for the 3 count. I really like that. It tells a really cool story, and I think what could have made it even cooler is if they got just like fancy booking. If they got another big, like for example on the independent scene, someone like Viper. Or another large, like Karma, for example.
Yeah.
I think she's known in
Awesome Khan, yeah.
Yeah. If they got and had basically had it as a fatal 5-way, had 6-pack challenge, had Becky as the 6th person, you could have had the 4 horsewomen of wrestling against monsters of the women's division. That would have been fucking awesome.
It definitely would have too. But again, Becky Lynch is. I don't know. Again, this whole superstar shakeup does put in a lot of interesting scenarios, and we will go over rumors after that. But and what I found again, it was interesting. It was the same thing. It was similar to what they did again Takeover. You saw with DIY and the Revival with the Authors of Pain. Before the match even really started, they DIY and the Revival both looked at each other and then they turned around to the Authors of Pain because they knew they had to work together. And I love that whole match. That did it for me when they worked together. That's how much respect they had for each other. Yeah.
The only match from Takeover Orlando I've actually seen is the tag match, and oh my
God, match of the night, hands down.
The year candidate.
Anytime you have either DIY or Revival in a match at a Takeover, is always going to be match of the night, and so again, match of the night.
My favorite spot of the I would argue the entire week was the knee super kick combo to one
Gargano and then that Shadow Machine, yep.
I mean, they
both did their finishing moves, and then plus the pair. It wasn't the team. They separated it, so they had one member of Revive, one member of DIY did one finishing move, the other member of Revive, the other member of DIY they did their finishing move. I found that kind of cool.
I was thinking about if those two teams were to create a faction, so cool because you've got the 4 men who are tag team wrestling and who are great wrestlers on their own. It would just be incredible.
Well, I mean, now they can't do that now because Revival's on Raw, so
fingers crossed for DIY.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad DIY's on SmackDown. I mean, I'm glad they're still on NXT because I feel like what they're going to, I don't want it to happen. I feel like they're eventually going to break them up. because they still could tell the story of
gonna tell
those best friends between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso. I think that's what they're gonna do, especially now since Shinsuke and Ty Dillinger are called up. They definitely need new singles, like top baby faces for NXT. So I think that's what they're gonna do. But
they could both be future world champions.
Oh yeah, of course.
Gargano is so good, incredible.
It was. They are that good. They are. It's sad that now they're viable or going from NXT because we can't have a dynamic anymore. But it's cool how it ended though. At least they had at the end before they left, they left on good terms. Like they both like each other now. Both teams like they respect each other enough. They knew they had to work together to even have a chance of winning the match. They put their egos aside. They just knew.
Yeah. The only other thing I want to quickly say about the takeover tag match is that like the Raw Women's title match, once DIY were eliminated, like after, because it was such a good match, like most of the match was those three teams. Once DIY had been eliminated, it was very much, you know, let's just get the match over quickly.
Because like the best part, because that's what I loved about that elimination tag match. Usually they try to do the whole aspect of who's gonna get eliminated versus the quickest. It took like a good 15 minutes before DIY even got eliminated. It was like nobody got eliminated yet, and I completely forgot it was an elimination match. And that's how good it was. I completely forgot because nobody got eliminated. Which again, that was perfect for me. But yeah. Bayley is still the Raw Women's Champion. And it seems like nothing's changed because on Raw the next day, even though despite the fact that Emma returned, it seems like Sasha didn't even turn heel yet. So it's like, that's because it's rumored. Well, again, first of all, I just want to point out, by the time this podcast comes up, the superstar shakeup would have already happened. So everything that we're saying is past tense by the time this podcast probably is going to go up. But so let me ask you, what are your thoughts? Say if Sasha does go on SmackDown. Or again, this is past tense though. If Sasha does or does not go on SmackDown, what would you think about that?
The rumors that I've seen is that either Sasha or Charlotte will be going to SmackDown potentially, and I've seen rumors that Becky will be going to
Raw with Alexa Bliss.
I hope. I've not see. What I've heard that, or from what I've seen rather, is that Alexa will be staying where she is, and it'll be Becky that leaves.
Which is weird.
I think that's a very.
To me, it's weird.
Personally, I think it's. Either women's division should maybe like a slight change up. Maybe you like. I don't know, like. Let me think. Mickey James,
they could they could send. I guarantee you, Dana Brooke would do much better on SmackDown because
Brooke should have stayed in NXT. She needs.
Definitely
needs to improve.
But since she's on the main roster, I think her best option is to go on SmackDown.
As I was going to say, it's like it would be better if someone like Mickey James or goes to, because I think that you've got to split. Actually, no, keep Mickey James on SmackDown. Send Natalya
on
to
Raw,
Monday Night Raw because you need to separate her from Becky Lynch. They've been in fighting on and off for almost a year now, and
separate that.
Long feuds can be good. Problem is that when they're not given enough time to like. It becomes very, very dodgy, and I think if you send, because as I said, what I've seen is that the most prominent one I've seen rather is that to SmackDown Live, it goes to Monday Night Raw. That could really shake things up because you could have, on SmackDown, two old friends, former PCB.
Yes, Charlotte and Becky now feuding.
If you have those two feuding, or then you Lexa feud, that would be awesome. Like two women who consider themselves genetically superior, because obviously Alexa considers herself genetically superior because she's or not genetically superior, but just superior.
She's just
because she's a gymnastic champion. Charlotte is the daughter of
Ric Flair.
And then on Raw you can have a feud between Natalia and Bailey,
or Natalia,
and like having. I would prefer Bailey versus Natalia, because you can have Bailey say, "Looked up to you. You helped me in NXT, and now you've turned your back on me."
That is a true story. That is actually, you're right.
That's what they should do with the women's division, but I think the women's division should stay the same.
I feel like the only person that they should change. I don't think Becky Lynch should go to Raw, because I feel like she would not have gotten the same opportunity as she did on SmackDown. She would have never became women's champion if she would have been on Raw. She would have never. Yeah, it would just been Charlotte. It would have been Charlotte. Bailey is just lucky. It would have been Charlotte and Sasha the whole time. Becky Lynch would have never became women's champion.
Well, I think she would have been in the picture, because like the thing that I will say about the entire women's division is that, unlike a lot of the male guys, they've got Triple H and Stephanie
backing them up. Yeah,
backing them up. Like if like I've got, do you remember the rumor that was supposed to be with the supposed to happen
with what?
Emelina.
Oh yeah, Emelina. Yeah, because originally supposed to be Emelina gimmick, but then Emelina wasn't too keen on it. She wasn't. I mean, Emma herself was not too keen on it. She said, "Okay, screw it." They go back to Evil Emma, because that's what. Again, to this day, I don't understand why he was trying to do it in the first place. Because it was retarded.
Because he wanted a character that was like Sable or Sunny or Cat, back from the Attitude Era, those crap female gimmicks.
And the issue with that is that now you're pushing the women's division back 20 years ago, and it's like, no, they just did this whole revolution shit, and now you're just spitting in the face of that. It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, but it's the kind of thing where
because Triple H knew. Yeah, no, you're right. Triple H probably knew. He's like, no, fuck that shit. He's like, yeah.
The thing is that if I'm perfectly honest, I don't think Triple H is as behind Emma as he is with and Sasha, Charlotte, and Bayley.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they are pretty much the cream of the crop in terms of the women's division.
That he created.
If I'm perfectly honest, I think that both Emma and, fingers crossed she comes back, Paige, I think they should get. Also, I've heard Summer Rae and Emma should be going to SmackDown. Will be going to SmackDown, but I think.
Well, in my opinion, I don't think Paige is. It's sad because I think Paige is done. I think they want something to do with her now. Especially, it's bad enough that she was dating Roberto Del Rio. That was one thing. And they tried to split them up, but put them with different brands. That didn't help. Then she got suspended twice for this violation. And now we got this incident with the leak stuff. So it's like she's just tainted.
The thing I'll say about that is that apparently, from what Dave Meltzer has said, the WWE for it to blow over.
They're trying to.
Yeah, what should be remembered the victim of. And I think, as I was going to say, is I think Paige and Emma need to be. I think they should be held in the same regard, in my opinion, as Becky, Sasha, Bayley, and.
But the reason why
they are part of that original six. Of amazing talent from NXT.
You're perfectly right, but the main reason why I don't think they want to hold Paige in that same light, because who does she feud? Is that not her fault? But who was her first feud going to the main roster?
AJ Lee.
Exactly. And who is AJ Lee associated with?
CM
Punk, and Triple H hates that prick. So then I'm saying that is, I don't blame Paige. Paige is just in a bad situation where she was associated with her, and she is associated with them, and Triple H has nothing to do with that, and that's the issue.
Also, especially what the comments that have come out that AJ said about what they wanted to do in 2012, that definitely put her in a good stint with the company.
Oh yeah, definitely knows, and that's my point. Again, it's just keep fucking over. Paige literally keep getting fucking over. I'm not saying this because the sex tape. She's literally getting fucked over.
Can I say as a side note, that's if what AJ said is true about what they wanted to do, that's fucking twisted.
Well, again, this is Vince McMahon. Remember this is Vince McMahon, the same guy who originally wanted to have a incest storyline between him and Stephanie and Shane. So it's like that's that same person. So yeah, I want to put it past him. That isn't too far out there.
I would like to send a message to Vince McMahon. Vince, please fuck off. Please leave. They're better for the industry. Fuck off, you old man. There we go.
My
system.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, God.
But yeah, again, even though this is past, so I guess we should talk about the other biggest rumors, which is Roman Reigns and AJ Styles. It's rumored that Roman Reigns is going to SmackDown, which is like, for fuck's sake.
It's like for fuck's sake. Till next WrestleMania.
Yeah, just to build up either him against John Cena or him against Brock Lesnar. But AJ's been conflicting reports. Originally, they want him to go to Raw. Him and Miz, they want both him and Miz to go to Raw. However, at last minute now, it's decided they might keep him on SmackDown and just bring the club to Raw, which would make sense. I would actually be perfectly fine with that because now we already got the Revival on Raw. We don't need those two Tyson hard-hitting teams like the Revival and Gallows and on the same brand. We don't need that. So I would actually agree with that.
There's two things that I think would be great. Number one, the first one is I think it would be really good if you have the Usos lose the tag team titles next week, so they can be with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns stays on Monday Night Raw, then Gallows and Anderson come to SmackDown. Mm-hmm. Right. And then find a way to bring Finn over to SmackDown. But I was going to say the only way I would be happy with AJ going to Monday Night Raw is if they form the club.
Yeah, the actual like legit form Balor or the Balor club. But see the issue, the only issue I see is that say they do form Balor club, we had Finn Balor, Gallows Anderson, and AJ Styles. I can't is AJ Styles. That's the issue. I cannot picture AJ Styles as one of Finn Balor's henchmen. I just can't see it.
No, see, I don't think they'll call it. I think AJ will fight his corner and say, no, I want us to do they'll call it the club, and I want us to do what we did in New Japan, where we say that we are not. There's no leader in the club. We are all four equals, and I want that to happen.
Okay.
Why I want that to happen because we're one step closer to getting. I know it'd be a while off to getting the club versus the elite. The elite being Kenny Omega, Nick and Matt Jackson, and Cody Rhodes.
But that's like a pipeline. Dream. That's like a pipeline dream.
I'd love that so much.
Well, to be fair, we got Drew McIntyre back in WWE, so anything's possible. And we got the Hardy Boy. Yeah. I just spoiled what we was about to talk about next, but still. But my point is, we got that back. Yeah. So we are on now. But I just want to get again because I know this video will be after the Superstar shakeup, so we don't know. Yeah. We're just giving our thoughts. Hopefully these predictions do come true. The main thing I fear is Miz, because again, the other two people is Miz and Dean Ambrose. They're rumored to go to Raw. Okay, they want all three show members on Raw now. Dean Ambrose will because the rumored match now for WrestleMania 34 is Dean Ambrose versus Triple H. That's the rumored match I'm hearing, which is fine, but it's like I feel like Dean Ambrose won't do that well on Raw because
Ambrose has to go over in that match because I will not be happy otherwise.
I feel like there's no way Triple H should job me out 3 times in a row. I just can't see. I know storyline wise it will make sense because the person who created the Shield pretty much is all three of them beat him. So it's like that's a good story to tell.
Well, here's the thing. You say the man is Shield. Triple H is the man who hates the man who created the Shield.
The Shield, yes. But yeah, I mean, again, it's like I know, but it would be kind of fitting. I just don't know. I here's my thought. I thought Baron Corbin was personally going to win the Intercontinental title, which would have made Dean Ambrose go back into the world title picture. That's why I really wanted it to happen. But it seemed like that's not the case because the rumor is, again, Kevin Owens is going to be going to Smack. They're switching the titles. They're going to have the Intercontinental title on Raw and putting the United States title on SmackDown. That's what they were going to do. So they're going to. That's why Dean Ambrose is going to Raw and Kevin Owens is going to SmackDown.
Yeah. I've got one problem with that, and this is going to sound really stupid, is that the Intercontinental Championship has always been associated with SmackDown. When there was one, Daniel Bryan said on his, I think it was Bring It to the Table when he was with Ziggler and Ryback, that when Cena had the US title, he didn't want to appear defending the title on Raw because then it's like you've got the world, you've got the US, and you've got the IC title. When there's like when you have singles goal, when you've got like one world title between both brands, then one singles goal is upper mid card title. That then just pushes those guys.
Yeah.
Just quickly in terms of the WrestleMania rumor, it would make sense if Ambrose were to win, because it would then be a case of, the Shield, the team who destroyed Evolution of the Shield, all three members just.
Yeah. I want Dean Ambrose to see. I want him to be world champion again. Again, he didn't have the. Again, looking back at it, I knew it had to end that way because, again, the only reason why Dean Ambrose had the title in the first place was because of Roman Reigns getting suspended. I understand that, but that's the only reason why he had the title. But that's why they had to find a way to take it off him somehow. So they made AJ Styles do. But I feel like Dean Ambrose didn't have a chance world champion.
Yeah, I think. The thing is, Dean Ambrose, I was glad that Dean, going back to the Dean Ambrose-Corbin match, I'm glad that Ambrose retained the title because he needed it so badly. He has been pushed so far down the pecking order in terms of he should be right up next with Cena as the
that's my point. It's like that's what really it kills me. It's like again, let's look at all three members of the show. Who is the guy that's been here working every single day, who is yet not yet to get injured, who is yet to do a wellness policy? Who's here every single day, no matter what they tell him to do, he will do it. Dean Ambrose, all the time.
He's the guy.
Again, he legit said he's the hardest worker in WWE. I freaking believe it.
Yeah. Dean Ambrose is a guy who got put in a match with Brock Lesnar, who is notoriously a difficult guy to work with because he doesn't want to do anything that makes him look weak, and came up with this whole plan of how Brock would win.
But still make it an entertaining match too. But it's like, again, I thought that was the match. That was my second, besides Shane and Undertaker. That was my other match I was looking forward to, solely because that was going to be the match that was going to make Dean Ambrose a star. If it wasn't, if it's still, I mean, granted, Triple H and Dean Ambrose did make Dean Ambrose look like $1 million too. But this was the WrestleMania match that was going to make Dean Ambrose a star, and just Brock Lesnar just fucking blew it for him. Like, Dean Ambrose didn't have to win, but that was going to make him a star, though, after this match, if it wasn't already. But Brock Lesnar just fucking blew it for him. And then look what happened after that. It took a month for him to recover until he finally won a World title, which was a coincidence. He was never, again, the original winner was supposed to be Kevin Owens. That was the original winner. So much so that people don't understand that the only reason why I know that's a fact, because on ESPN, I don't know if you have that in the UK, ESPN, they was going to interview the winner. That
subscription thing, I think.
Yeah, they was going to interview the winner of Money Bank, and they had Kevin Owens on there, advertised as Kevin Owens, and they quickly changed it to Dean Ambrose at the last second. Because I remember as of that Friday, they technically said Kevin Owens, but they switched it to Dean Ambrose because they knew at that point Roman Reigns got suspended, so they had to quickly change it. So because of that, no, go ahead.
It's like regardless of what was going to be, it was great. It's a great fan moment, I think. Ambrose to win the world. Every one of the fans.
Oh, yeah, I jumped out of my chair. I jumped out of my chair because it felt like I won too. Yeah,
because it was like our moment. It was the guy. He was up there as the guy we want to do. We want to win because of the fact that he's worked so damn hard.
He was pretty much like, again, even though it's weird saying, he was pretty much like the next Dan Bryan in case of the guy that you never thought was going to succeed. That either like up until like higher mid card, he finally got the world title. Again, it eventually found out because of Roman Reigns. But at that point, I know when he cashed it in, he pinned Seth Rollins. I legit jumped out of my chair and just screaming my head off because he did it. I didn't expect him to, and he did it. And no, like it's like when he won the Money Bank too. It's like when he was standing there, I felt how his reaction when he was standing there with the briefcase. Like, yeah, you finally fucking did it. You finally won the big one, finally. And then I was expecting the same night, and then when the world title, it was just culminated to that good moment. But it's now it's like, yeah. I mean, I'm glad though. Hey, what I want to really happen is that if Dean Ambrose continues to hold the Intercontinental title, that's perfectly fine. I want it to get to the point where the Intercontinental title is just as important as the world title. So like it gets to the point where even the world champion wants to go after Dean Ambrose because he has the Intercontinental title. That's what I want to happen.
Yeah, where it gets to a point like it used to be, like Cena got the US title when he was champion. Where Seth Rollins, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, wanted a shot of the Intercontinental title, where the NXT Champion Kevin Owens wanted a shot of the Intercontinental title. Sorry, US title.
No, you're absolutely. I mean, I already knew what you meant, but yeah, no, you're right. That's the point. That's how important John Cena made the United States title, and I want the same thing happen with the Intercontinental title. I mean, Miz technically was trying to do it with his Intercontinental title, which again he had a good run with it. The whole feud between him and Dolph Ziggler was probably the second best thing on SmackDown. Yeah. When the Miz had the Intercontinental title, that was a good story. But yeah, again, I want if they're content on making Dean Ambrose just mid card, then I'm perfectly fine with that. But make that but he can make that Intercontinental title. He can make he get to the point where it's like how New Japan, how Shinsuke Nakamura made the Intercontinental title, if not more important than their World Heavyweight title at the time.
I mean, if I'm just quick before we get back onto the WrestleMania,
we just went on tangent.
You say you're like kind of okay with Dean as a kind of a personally. He needs a disgrace, and I think it's talents if he is not in the same bracket of names as Brock Lesnar, as John Cena, as AJ Styles, as Seth, as Roman, because he is fucking incredible. That man could be like the reason on his podcast was asking some weird questions about his social housing, social housing, all that kind of stuff. Is because he sees Dean Ambrose as the next as like the next Stone Cold type character because he's a ruthless face who doesn't care what he's got to do to get to the man he's feuding with.
And you're right.
He jumped out the back of a fucking ambulance after he got put in it and chased after Seth Rollins.
Yeah, it's like when he sets his mind on something, he will, and no matter what it takes, he will get to it. Just like how the World Heavyweight, remember his match against Elimination Chamber for the World title? He got screwed out of the match, so he took the World title with him.
Yeah,
I remember that. So like he took, so he said, "Screw it, I'm taking." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I won the match, so I'm taking the World Heavyweight title with me," and that's what he did. It was so. I love that moment.
And he comes taking the World title with me. He comes across as such like an attitude era kind of character, like the fact that he doesn't give a fuck about what he says.
Anything.
He doesn't care about how he comes across, and he doesn't care about if he upsets people. Like that match at Roadblock last year, like the first Roadblock against Triple H, where like he did a suicide dive to Triple H and then started doing the crotch chop. Right.
Well, no. Well, yeah. Well,
like, I love you.
the perfect example of a trait that you brought up, I actually say recently, was against him and the Miz. The Miz brought up the fact that him and Renee Young.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a perfect example. He brought up the fact that him and Renee Young was going out with each other. That was really a side thing. All he cared about was taking the Miz Intercontinental title away. That was just more fuel to the fire. But all he really cared about, he could care less what Miz has to say. All he cared about was, I mean, sure, he did show signs of that when Renee was about to interview, but then Dean Ambrose disguised himself as a cop to get back at him. But all he really cared about was just the Intercontinental title.
Can I say? I just want to say one more thing before we obviously get back to the WrestleMania.
Yeah, we have to get back. Yeah.
I like how, especially on SmackDown Live, they've used people's personal, real life relationships as like fuel to feed stories. Like Renee Young and Dean Ambrose and Cena, and like everyone already knew
exactly.
Were dating, but you didn't have to bring up in a story. You didn't have to make that the integral part of a WrestleMania.
And Miz took it and that's why I made it so perfect. And Miz took it again. Both times it involved Miz. He took it to that next level. That's why Miz is so great.
I completely love like when they take it to the next level, like when they make it personal, like what Jericho did with Punk when he was saying like, "Oh, your father's an alcoholic, your sister's a substance abuser." That was great. That was great. That really built up the tension for a WrestleMania angle. But using people's like all for showbiz, but I just don't. You can build a story out of so much more than someone's actual relationship. You don't have to use, Dean's relationship with Renee, and the fact that like it's just being used like willy nilly, like at the Hall of Fame, and like because up until that point they disguised it. I would say they disguised it so well. Like any interview with Dean that Renee had with Dean Ambrose,
they pretend like it was
and at the Hall of Fame, which is a great example.
They pretty much brought it,
like when Renee was like, "Oh, our seats are over there," and a couple of weeks earlier on SmackDown when
Baron Corbin, when Baron Corbin had him on the forklift, she's like, "Yeah, it's hard to watch for me personally."
You don't have to. Yeah, it's like, and because I guarantee if Renee Young ever gets put on commentary, which also she fucking should do. She's great at commentary.
They don't want a female. Awesome. They don't want a female commentator. NXT, they would get away from it because of NXT. They don't want a women's commentator. They don't want that.
Which in my eyes, and I hope once Vince goes that she does become a member of the commentary, because she fucking deserves it. She's been absolutely phenomenal for the.
And then plus, it will build an interesting story for Dean Ambrose too.
Go ahead. Was a women's perspective, like for example, like when she was on NXT, bringing up points like, for example, there was a match between, I think it was Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss, and Renee was saying like, "I've been talking to these ladies in the women's locker room, and they've been saying that how Sasha feels like she is like the biggest star in NXT, and how Alexa Bliss wants this opportunity so badly." That kind of thing. That with the women's revolution, the evolution of women's wrestling, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it's only a matter of time until we get a women's commentator to give a proper perspective, because she knows the business better than anybody else.
Exactly, because she's been here. She's been here for actually a while now. She's been here since 2013 now. I'd say she's been here technically since
2012. I think is when she first came to the company.
Sure, exactly. You're right, because she was on the main roster 2014. That's what I remember.
Yeah, because I think she was on the initial like she was the original backstage interview for NXT. I think originally,
and then she eventually came onto the main roster. And it's like, I do.
Which match is next?
I don't. I mean, I just hope again, but before we get to the Raw Tag Team Titles match, again, Dean Ambrose again. I mean, don't get me wrong. I just want to clarify. I want Dean Ambrose to be the main star. I want him to be the main star of SmackDown. I want him to be the main star in general. He should. again, if people look at the current day WWE, they should see three people: Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. Those are the three main stars for this era. Yet, what we will see is Brock Lesnar, John Cena, and Roman Reigns. That's what we're going to see for this era.
Oh,
those are
change.
That's what we.
You said Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose. No, you missed out one there. It still should be three: Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, AJ Styles. Oh, four. Sorry, Finn Balor in there as well.
Well, yeah. See, I know it's hard. I know I had to break it. No, trust me. AJ Styles has been next. Well, yeah, again, I don't fuck off Roman, but I'm not gonna deny the fact that they consider him a top. You know, he shouldn't be there. I'm not gonna deny the fact that he's a top. He is a top star for even reasons he shouldn't be. But hey, what? Again, I'm not gonna deny the fact that again the fight. One thing I will agree with Vince McMahon, despite him being crazy, it doesn't matter as long as you get a reaction out of people, then you're doing something right. I will agree with him on that because again, Roman Reigns, despite him, whatever, he brings the most. He's bringing John Cena level reactions out of people, and not a lot of superstars.
Dreading us,
even though it's for the wrong reason. He is bringing out John Cena levels of reaction. Yeah. So it's like I can't argue with that statement. He is, despite him being shit. He is, especially did you see Monday Night Raw?
What, the bit where the crowd had taken over Raw for the first
10 minutes,
yeah, 15 minutes, and the Raw was like, "This is my yard now."
Again,
which is the best promo he's ever given.
Yeah, hands down. That was probably his greatest promo in his whole career, hands down. Because again, even though I fucking hate his guts to the day I die, I can't deny the fact that he's literally bringing out John Cena levels of reaction. So I can't argue with the fact that he's not a top superstar. I just can't argue with that. You know, he shouldn't be. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to sit here and deny the fact that he is bringing out reactions of the fans like that. No other, not even AJ Styles or Finn Balor will be able to bring out that type of reaction out of people. They won't.
Quickly address it again before we get to another one before we get to the Raw Tag Titles.
I know.
Is that something Triple H said? Is that Roman is a heel because of the crowd reactions. We're just presenting him in a different way. Triple H, don't try and fool us. You know that the internet wrestling community is smarter than that. You know
that y'all want him as a face. We're not retarded.
Yeah, Triple H, you've been in the business for long enough to know that when someone is a heel, they act like a heel. They attack people after the match. They attack people before the match.
I know that would be like saying John Cena's a heel. That would be like saying if John Cena's a heel because of that. Because he gets booed all the time. He's technically a heel, I guess, but no, he's a face. He does face-esque things. There's only two occasions.
Roman smarter to say that.
He probably had to say it just because of PR reasons. Because again, he is management now, so he has to say that shit. But again, there's only two instances that I could consider Roman Reigns a heel, which was the last 2 weeks of Raw. The Raw for WrestleMania, where he's saying I don't care what anybody says, I'm going to put down the Undertaker. That was a heel promo. That was like his only heel promo I can recall him actually cutting. And this one as well, where he just looked at the crowd, he didn't say anything, he just said, "This is my yard now." Those are the only two instances where I say if he was a heel, then so be it. But any other time, no. Y'all pushed him as a face. Don't pretend like he was a heel this whole time.
Yeah. I was gonna say but they still count him as a face, for fuck's sake.
Wait, who?
We talked about that last time. Rusev.
Rusev. I know that whole feud in general. It was like
we talked about that last time.
Yeah, I know. If Roman Reigns wasn't the heel in that situation, and Rusev legit did nothing to this man. He came out of nowhere, and then he just started attacking. Like he started dishonoring his wife and everything. Like Rusev did. Like he messed up his whole marriage. Like his whole marriage celebration. Rusev did legit nothing to this man. Didn't even interact with him for almost a year. He legit did nothing to him.
Memorable line of feuds when Roman fucking comes out as fucking doesn't give a shit, man. Going, I expected more Rusev.
It's like what? It's like fuck off. He's like, dude, I'm not worried about you. I want nothing to do with you. Why are you? I know usually it's the heels that bothers the faces. It was this case, like legit, the face bothered the heel. Like Rusev legit did nothing to this man. Had no, I mean, sure he was part of League of Nations, but I know that was the point. I mean, sure he's part of the only beef you can say is the League of Nations, but who gave a shit? That was like months ago at that point. It's like who gave a shit? And
Sheamus was a face by that point.
Exactly. It's like this man still came after him. It's like, come on, man. Like I did nothing to you after the draft. This is right after the draft too. Like he legit did nothing to this man. He just went after him because he had the title. Fatal four. Yes, to the Fatal 4-Way. Well, my bad. It was originally the Triple Threat ladder match for the Raw Tag Team titles. But New Day came out. They said it was a fourth team added to the match. People was probably assumed it was gonna be New Day since they was in the wrestling gear, but sure enough, it was probably the biggest pop of the night. The Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff Hardy returned.
Delete.
Yes, yeah, that sums it up perfectly. Yes, it's just. Oh yeah, well again, what are your thoughts on the match?
I thought going into the match before the Hardys entered, I thought it was going to be Enzo and Cass. I thought this was going to be Enzo and Cass's big stage to finally win tag gold.
Yeah,
it had eluded them for so long. The Hardys music hit, and I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, win it," because the pop was so loud. One thing that I like, it was a massive fuck you to Impact or to TNA, is that not only did Matt keep acting like broken Matt Hardy. Delete.
Yes.
And fucking acting like broken Matt. But ever since they've left TNA, I found it like so funny how even before when they were in Ring of Honor like teasing with WWE, they would just say they was just basically saying to TNA, yeah, when we go to WWE eventually, you're fucked.
Exactly.
I keep bringing that to my mates when talking about this is Sky was saying that they'd gone too far by trying to trademark the Hardys' names, and someone had put on Twitter, WWE could help with that, don't you? And Hardys,
and now they're fucking, I know.
Yes, I know. Like coming back, TNA, you're fucked.
They are. I know. It's like if they don't have TNA, I'm surprised. Again, they're like fuck. TNA are like cockroaches at this point.
Yeah.
You think you think they're done, but they're just still alive. Somehow they're just still alive. I don't know. TNA. The only good thing I would say TNA has done is that we got the lights of AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and Austin Aries and Eric Young. Those people would have never. It's like those. If it wasn't for, that's the only thing I'll give TNA credit for. Cause they was able to show themselves to WWE and say, okay, they're good. You can come over. So that's the only thing I'll give TNA that. Otherwise, you're just a shit company. All y'all ever try to do is just bash WWE.
Yeah.
And just copy off of their shit.
Here's the thing. Told me in August or September last year that TNA would still be around, I would have called you a fucking liar. Because the fact of the matter is, their finances are still in the fucking floor. How they're still alive is just...
Exactly. I mean, I just... TNA, it just surprises me how TNA was even after... I'm surprised they lasted all the way to 2015. At that point, it's like Eric Bischoff even said he was suing them.
Yeah.
As well. So it's like, I'm surprised how they still have money. It's just beyond me. But yeah, back to Raw.
The Hardys.
Well, yeah, the Hardys, they are now the Raw Tag Team Champions. I originally personally thought too that Enzo and Cass was going to win. I personally thought Sheamus and Cesaro was going to break up. And this is the night that they was going to break up.
Obviously, the main spot of this, there was two big spots of this match. The first was the twist of fate to Anderson off the ladder.
Yes.
Which it looked like Anderson landed really, really flat. He landed with like his shoulder going into the match, so it looked a bit painful.
I can imagine.
And the Swanton bomb on by Jeff, which looks like he missed, because it looks like the way Sheamus fell off the ladder, it looks like he was supposed to go through both of them. It's like he might.
I know, but he only
caught
he
on the ladder.
Yeah, he only hit freaking
as he hit Sheamus.
Yeah,
not Sheamus, Cesaro.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a decent match. It's with Enzo and one of my favorite tag teams, but the problem is they both their charisma is off the scale. I think that Anderson, if they were to go to SmackDown in the shake-up, would be the best thing for them, because they've been so underused on SmackDown Live. Not SmackDown Live, Monday Night Raw.
No, again, yes. You're right about that. SmackDown is literally the land of opportunity. Bray Wyatt would have never. Yeah, Bray Wyatt would have never even been a thought of in a world title picture if it was for SmackDown. AJ Styles would have probably never been world heavyweight champion. Becky Lynch would probably never been women's champion. Dolph Ziggler would have never got that slight push that he got on SmackDown if it wasn't for the draft. Again, it's like all these, and the Miz would not be the heel that he is if it wasn't for the draft. Again, it's like all these opportunities that came about because they had a completely different separate show and they have their own storylines on there now. That's just became so good. That's why SmackDown, while the Raw, they just keep putting the same bullshit, aka Roman Reigns, down our throats. Just the same bullshit all the time. Yeah,
I was gonna say also with the tag match, I think what's come apparent is that because the tag team became a team. Sheamus has been the most bland and boring wrestler potentially of all time, but Cesaro in a tag team has managed to bring the
greatest. Yeah.
Also fair play to Sheamus for upping his game when in a tag team, because those two are
amazing.
Sheamus may be the most boring character, but he's actually a decent wrestler.
Yeah, no, get me wrong.
Because
I remember his matches with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. Fingers crossed it's shown Vince that Cesaro has got a connection to the crowd, so he finally gets a push to the world title. This was a decent match. Obviously, the highlight of it was the Hardys' return. I went shit when I heard their music.
Now let me ask you a question. Now I know again, this is gonna be past tense, but there's a rumor. I mean, this is not really a rumor. It's just gonna be interesting. I just want to know your thoughts, even though it wouldn't really logically make sense. How would you feel about the women's and SmackDown title switching brands?
Did you say both women's titles swapping?
No, I'm just saying. What would be your thoughts on that? It's how would that even comprehend to even work? Because one is blatantly blue and one is blatantly red. With I'm saying, say if the SmackDown title would go to Raw.
Yeah, they wouldn't do it. So obviously, it's they made it.
I know. It'll be interesting. I know it's you come to Monday Night Raw. Okay, we're on Raw, but they're competing for the SmackDown. Was what? The only time that there's only 4 titles that they can actually move is the United States Intercontinental, and despite the color, the Universal and the World Heavyweight title, they can move those titles.
Yeah. Universal. I'm glad that.
Yeah, go ahead.
A strap on the WWE title, or added any kind of blue, because
I'm so glad. I'm glad that they don't too. I just want them to keep it that way. Though it's rumored that they're gonna put a blue slash where the red is, put a blue one. It's I don't know.
I think that's the maximum I'll be okay with. They'll look okay. But I think they better not.
I know, by God. I don't think no.
I think I've got the Universal, despite the fact that Kevin Owens has made it cool, is still the worst looking title in the entire company. The tag belts, I think, have been given us. I think the tag belts have been given a slight. They look okay now. They're not that horrid fucking coin thing.
But although did you see, which I know this in relation to that, I don't mean to cut you off. Did you see it on WWE's shop at WrestleMania, what they showed, which blows my mind why they didn't give it to the New Day? They had their own personal belt.
The new I saw those. Yeah,
it's like it blows my mind. It's like if any team deserved to have their own personal belt, it was the New Day. They held the titles the longest. They like that could have added so much more to the story. It's like, yeah, nobody can beat us, so we're just gonna change the titles to make it ours. So like, since nobody can beat us, and like that would have added so much.
That would have been a cool little harken back to the old days of titles, like when Edge and Cena swap back and forth their version of the WWE title, like when Stone Cold and Rock did the same. But I think like I've got a feeling that would have been they would have given them those belts. New Day had kept the titles till Mania, because
they probably would have.
I've got a feeling that the reason that New Day lost the belts had a massive towards Demolition, saying, "Hey, look, was of the guys who broke your record. Fuck you, and you'll also." It's just like
it's just so weird. It's like that was a complete missed opportunity for the New Day.
Yeah,
it's like. They held they deserved it. They turned a shit gimmick thanks to this McMahon into probably the best thing that we had in years in terms of gimmicks. And
now, but now they've gone stale. Now they're just ice cream sellers.
Yeah, I know, and it's sad. I'm talking about weird, but no, I'm gonna pretend like their current situation right now is not happening. I'm gonna remember the good time. It's like again, it's like they legit even. Kofi and they even said in the interview, Big E they already knew like if this didn't work, they were already out of jobs. Him and Xavier, because they knew Kofi was going to be fine, but they already knew this shit didn't work. It was going to be better, and they was able to pull it off. They literally turned a shit gimmick into again the best thing that WWE produced in terms of gimmicks and characters in years. They literally turned it into something completely different. Yes, exactly. Like they're also their top selling. I know they're up there with John Cena and them in terms of top selling merchandise. It's like again. Why would you not award them those? If any team deserved it, they deserve those titles.
I mean,
even though the opinion of the title looks like whatever. At the end of the day, those are theirs.
Even if it's the thing where they just hold them for a week, that'd be a cool get like replicas of the belts to have in their homes as something to show that they've actually. That would have been. I can't speak. I'm sure they did get a version of those belts like hanging in their homes, but that would have been a cool little thing for them to have them. Like, even if it's just for a week, like for them to hold those belts. Like a week later, they lose the titles. They still get those designs, so they can so it's shown us in WWE history that New Day had their own titles because they fucking deserved it. They did so well.
Yeah, they were pretty much holding the tag team division together for the whole year. They pretty much, in my opinion, at least for the main roster, even on the NXT, the NXT team was perfectly fine in terms of tag team division. But in terms of the tag team division on the main roster, they pretty much are the reason that brought it back into prominence. It wasn't for the New Day. They made the tag team titles important because the whole story was who can actually beat the New Day? Who can actually beat the New Day? And for over a year, we had that whole story going on. And they held the titles.
And the thing about New Day is that they also helped bring out the personality, because New Day that when you're in a feud with them, you have to bring your personality to the game.
Exactly. But now they just turn to shit. I mean, I'm glad that their next feud is probably against one of the best tag teams in the world of Revival. So at least we're getting something out of that. But
yeah.
I mean, again, the New Day should have been turned. That should have been if the Hardys did not come back, that should have been the night they turned heel. Okay, they would have brought back their characters that they had originally.
Interesting, because
I would have brought them in the front.
This is interesting because I think after this feud with the Revival, I think they're going to turn them heel again, because think about it, it's the 2 in Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder of the Revival against 3 in Big E, Kofi, and Woods. I think that Revival will win the feud, and then they'll like either like that night I really hope they didn't split them up because they need to stay together. It's the best thing any of them have ever done.
I'm glad you brought that up. Apparently they're putting. I forget. That completely crossed my mind. Apparently another rumor. I get all these rumors, but this is gonna be past tense. We're gonna know by the time this comes up. We already know our answers. They're putting the New Day on SmackDown, but they're keeping Big E on Raw. They're gonna put Kofi and Woods on SmackDown, but they're gonna keep Big E on Raw as a singles man. I know it's weird, but that's the rumor. They're gonna put Kofi and Woods on SmackDown, which is weird because they literally legit just started to feud with the Revival. But that's like a last minute report. They're gonna put specifically Kofi and Woods on Raw, but they'll put Kofi and Woods on SmackDown, but they're gonna specifically put they're gonna keep Big E on Raw, which is weird. I don't
see new Monday Night Raw because I think SmackDown Live because I think it'd be quite cool to see them like against the likes of Alpha,
the new belts.
Yeah,
I mean, to me, it's in my opinion, SmackDown has too many tag teams. Even though they're underutilized, they have way too many tag teams that they could use and still get out of something. Breezango, yeah, like they could like potentially be a top tag team. They just, I hate the fact that Tyler Breeze is being used like this, but hey, whatever. Tyler, again, Breezango could be a top team because the only two teams that are relevant are again the Usos and American Alpha. But even American Alpha is even having a hard time. Okay, I got you. So let's just wrap. Yes, let's wrap this up.
It's the kind of thing where they become regular feuds.
Yes. But okay, back to WrestleMania. We move on to my worst match of the night, in my opinion, because just the booking didn't make any sense. John Cena and Nikki Bella versus The Miz and Maurice in a mixed tag match. I had promise for this match, but just the booking itself was just. What are your thoughts on it?
See, I'm on the fence about the match because I think the way that the Miz was done was a bit strange. The fact that Miz, dominant over Cena, and then it's only when Cena got the tag to Nikki that's when he came back and AA'd Miz. That was a weird little booking decision. It's also the case of. I said this last time. I love Cena and Nikki Bella. I think they're both like pretty underrated in terms of like they're both really. I think they're both. Like, Cena's a great wrestler. Nikki Bella's a pretty good wrestler now compared to what's going. And Cena is best talkers in the history of the company.
Oh
yeah. It was nice to see on SmackDown Live that the go home SmackDown before Raw him bring out some of the almost bring back the Doctor of Thugonomics.
Exactly.
My favorite lines is when he said to Miz and Maurice, "You having a go at Nikki for not having any kids? How long have you been married? How many kids you got? Let me quote the number. That was 0." And he fucking smashes Miz in the balls. I love that.
No, that was. I will admit that was actually pretty funny.
As I said, I love both, and I think they're both great. But I was thinking when I was sat there watching it, I was like, John, don't propose because it's gonna long show feel even longer. It was okay. I kind of hope this means a proper in-ring return from Maurice because Maurice this opportunity not have her involved in the women's division, but I think she should do okay because she was always an okay wrestler.
Again, the reason why I did not like the match, it proved both my theories were proved to be true. They made Maurice look like a joke, which I feared it was going to do that. They made Maurice seem like a coward that she wasn't going to fight, even though she can wrestle. That was my biggest fear going into this because they made her look like she couldn't wrestle or she was like a joke, and that's exactly what happened. And the second thing, which is who won the match. Now, I don't care that really Cena won the match or like Cena's team won. That's not the issue. My issue is going in long term. What does this do for Cena? They both knew going into this that they were not going to be here the next night on SmackDown. So now it's like, no, I'm saying, but my whole thing is like, I get, this did technically kill Miz momentum, which it didn't, which I'm glad it didn't. But it's like, again, now John Cena's just mocking the Miz, but it's like, for what? It's like, technically you have no place to back it up because you lost.
Yeah,
that's my thing.
I don't. The next night, the following night on SmackDown Live, with Miz continuing the thing with impersonating John Cena, I don't get that. It's like, you lost the match. Move on to a different feud.
I only have one theory. It's the same reason. It's the same theory I had with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman on Raw. They're hinting at the main events for WrestleMania 34. For Raw, it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. For SmackDown, it's going to be Shinsuke Nakamura and John Cena. They hinted at that because Shinsuke Nakamura came out.
Yeah.
Despite the Miz impersonating John Cena, Shinsuke Nakamura also came out that same time. That's what they're. That's my only theory. I'm thinking that's what they're just hinting at, the future main events of WrestleMania 34, which is going to be Nakamura and Cena, and then Roman and Brock.
Yeah.
That's all. That's the only way. That's the only thing I see.
Yeah. Because apparently Dolph are I didn't understand the point of him coming down to the ring and doing nothing, just doing his entrance. Like, Miz had run away. Like, why didn't and
I don't know.
He's ignorant and go, who the hell are you getting? And then Shinsuke hits him with the bomb IA, because I refuse to this day to call it the Kinshasa. It's the fucking bomb IA knee, WWE. Hit him with the bomb IA, and then just like send a message to the entire SmackDown live roster that Shinsuke Nakamura, the King of Strong Style, has arrived.
Exactly. And again, I think it was only for Miz just to personally see it, because since they knew Cena wasn't going to be here next night. This is just me speculation. This is just like future. This is just like future just storytelling of who the next main events are going to be for WrestleMania 34. Because again, even though Roman Reigns didn't come out, but Paul Heyman did mention him in his promo, and just like how John Cena technically wasn't there, Nakamura did appear with what you call it, John Cena.
Yeah,
exactly. That's the only thing. But yeah.
Can I just say one quick last thing on the Shinsuke thing? I am totally down with Cena Shinsuke next year.
Oh yeah, of course. That's gonna be brilliant.
What a match that'll be.
Two huge stars, probably 2 stars.
You've got the King of Strong Style, pretty much, other than Kazuchika Okada, biggest name in Japanese wrestling, against John Cena, the face of the WWE.
And the biggest name in American wrestling, basically.
In American wrestling. Holy fuck.
Exactly. It's brilliant in their eyes. That's exactly how you can market it. The biggest man in America versus the biggest guy in Japan. The story writes itself. The story definitely writes itself. But yeah. Moving on to Oh no. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but I was about the proposal at the end, making the show feel even longer. The problem is that, I mean, a couple of people talk online about this, is that in storyline terms, that legitimizes what Miz said about.
Miz was saying this whole time, exactly, and that's exactly what they said on SmackDown. That's exactly what they said. It's like, I know, it's like Cena's an idiot. It's like, you literally did what Miz was doing this whole time. It's like you could have did this privately, but you did it on a grand stage of WrestleMania. You did it on the grandest stage of WrestleMania.
But I guarantee the only reason they divas.
Oh yeah, of course. I never thought that wasn't the case. This was the whole point of Total Divas.
I'm really confused, because there is a part of me that thinks maybe that was genuine, and the majority of my head thinking, no, he's he's proposed to her like in private in a proper way, and then this was just for total divas.
Yeah, of course. I can't fathom that this whole story was just built legitimately just for him to propose afterwards. Obviously, no. I firmly believe that they privately got proposed to each other. But because trust me, I guarantee Nikki Bella would have had a better reaction than what she had. She seemed like she had a reaction. It was like, oh yes, you proposed. No, trust me, she would have had a better reaction than that one. If this was like all of a sudden.
The one thing that makes me kind of think it maybe was partly like legitimate is Cena's face. If you look at it, he's very, very emotional, and you can see like he's like to get this off his shoulders, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a bit. It may have been he's just a really, really good actor.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's been doing this for how many years? That's what Miz kept saying. He's been in Hollywood, so he knows how to act. So he knows how to act. He's been in Hollywood. Yeah, I know. It's hard to say what is real or not now.
15 years
since Cena's been in WWE.
God,
I know.
It's been 15
not
years
even Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold wasn't even here for that long. It's like, for God's sakes.
There's only one man who's been here for that length of time, and his name is Triple H.
Exactly. But no, but I mean, I was talking about in terms of the stars of that era.
Yeah,
Hulk Hogan, he wasn't here for that long. Stone Cold, he wasn't here for that long. And now we got John Cena, who's been here longer than only one person could say he's been here longer than anybody. Period, which was the Undertaker. But I think that ended that night. But moving on.
Yeah. Oh God.
To my opinion, oh God. Yeah. We're gonna try to quickly pull through these because you say you have to leave soon. So to my opinion, the best match of the night in my opinion was Seth Rollins versus Triple H in a non-sanctioned match. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, people have said that this was the point where the show started to drag.
Which is weird. I know. I disagree. Whoever said it is a liar. This was my hands down. After this match, this is where it got weird. But this match was probably the best match of the night, hands down.
I personally thought this was a really good match. It was obvious storytelling. It was obvious storytelling that it was going to be Triple H dominating and Seth getting in the bit of offense. I like that it seems at most WrestleManias, Stephanie gets her comeuppance. Last year she got speared by Reigns. This year she got fucking put through a table. Which I've got to say, like, fair. Although like fair play to Stephanie McMahon
even for doing that. I know
for taking that bump, because apparently, like Cody Rhodes said that being put for a table is not fun.
I can imagine it's not, because again, getting hit by weapons that I can't even imagine. Just look at Sheamus when he got hit by the ladder. That whole fucking top of his eye. How many stables? Like,
yeah. But there's one thing that does kind of confuse me about. And it's again in the kind of wrestling logic, kind of kayfabe kind of thing, is if it's a non-sect, anything goes, why not bring every weapon known to man down to the ring to kill Triple H?
Well, to be fair, he did have the fire thing. He could have brought
it.
that.
It's like, why doesn't he come down to the ring with a fucking like shotgun and shoot Triple H and then stab him in the gut? It's like, I know it's obviously a thing, but in kayfabe and wrestling logic, why doesn't he just do that? It's a non-sanctioned match.
I know. I know. Again, it's just another all non-sanctioned is just another way to say no disqualification. That's all it is.
Exactly.
That's literally all it is. Just another. It just makes it sound badass. It makes it sound personal. But it's like. Yeah. Again, it's literally just a no disqualification match. That's all it is. That's legit what it is. But yeah, I thought this was a good match. Again, as we pointed out earlier, that's freaking an entrance for Triple H. Now we know. Again, I always just found it weird why that ramp was so long. But now with this, up until that point, I had no idea why the entrance was so long. But now I know why. It was specifically, and I can't wait for the WWE 24 of this next year. I can't wait for it. Because I want to see Triple H lie his ass off and saying how he had nothing to do with this ramp. I wouldn't like to lie his ass off and try to BS his way through. I was like, no, bullshit. The only reason why this brand was made was specifically for you. That was the only reason why.
I find it funny every year how his entrance is like more thought out. He's more thought out and more kind of epic than most of the matches on the card.
And that really says he's God. You know what I'm saying? He's God.
Last year it was the whole kingdom thing with Stephanie stood on the mountain going,
yes.
"You are the voice. You are voiceless." And I was as soon as you said that, I was like, "Come on, Punk! Come on, Punk! Come on, Punk!" It's like,
I feel like I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. It's like when they rehearse this stuff, half of the rehearsal is just dedicated to getting Triple H's entrance on point. It's like the rest of the match is like, who gives a shit? It's like they have a whole like hour session specifically just to make sure Triple H's entrance is on point.
Yeah,
and I know what I care about.
Just to make sure Stephanie doesn't motorbike and get fucking crushed by the police bikes.
Right? Like that's all I could imagine that's what it was. The rest of the show was like, yeah, fuck it, who cares? But yeah, it's just this Triple H interest. No, we had to get this shit down packed.
Yeah.
For tonight.
I have one complaint about this match, and it's something that it still bugs me to this day. Ever since they banned it in 2015, and that's I think instead of the pedigree, it should have ended with the curb stomp, because that would have been like the defiant message again. You helped put me in this position. I started with the curb stomp. I'm putting you down with the curb stomp.
It would have been such a good story. I mean, to be fair, it did give us probably the best sequence of finishing moves I have ever seen in a while with the pedigree. I love that sequence. They kept trying to do a pedigree after a pedigree. He reversed it. He tried to do a pedigree. He did. I love that. So if it wasn't, I mean, I will give them that. If it wasn't for that, I mean, yes, I would prefer the curse stomp, but we got that sequence of pedigrees they tried to do was just that did it for me. That was actually good. But yeah, moving on to again another disappointing match, which was really weird. It's not because I'm not saying weird because what Bray Wyatt was doing. I found that kind of cool.
Oh God!
It was just.
To the left. Oh God.
Yes.
Oh
God. It was Randy. Yeah, it was Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt for the WWE title.
I'm gonna make the comment now that people have been making on the internet ever since the match, just to get it out of the way. Why did Randy Orton come down to the ring?
I don't know.
Stupid.
It was so stupid. I know. Again, Bray Wyatt's entrance was again amazing because we finally got the full scenery of all the lights, which was cool. I've always wanted to see that in WrestleMania, and they actually did it. So it was better than 31, where him and Undertaker had to have their entrances in the daylight, which is really weird for those two. And that's why I find it. I'm so glad that he was able to do it now if it was night. Yeah. So yeah.
This match was okay. Brian should have retained. The thing with the mat and the projector was that like took it into the silliness. Like the thing about Bray Wyatt is they turned him into a spooky character. But in NXT, I've gone back and watched some old NXTs. He was not a cult leader, and that's how he was best. It's just a cult.
Yeah, he was a cult leader. That's why I kept saying, they turned him more from a cult leader to just probably like their next reincarnation of the Undertaker. That's what they're doing here. Their modern day version of what the Undertaker would be if he was still like the dead man or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, where it's like, I mean, obviously Undertaker exceeded the dead man character at this point, but it's like, this is pretty much what they were doing with Bray Wyatt. It's just weird. Again, I technically didn't have it. That's not what I really had an issue with. The issue is maybe it's just me, or I want your opinion. Did this match seem so rushed? Because like right out the gate, less than a minute, RKO.
The other thing is
RKO,
that
right?
I also think that it also felt really, really kind of well, and I think that was down to, as I said, the bits with the projector, because that just seemed like filler for stuff that they couldn't like, because the problem with Randy Orton is that unfortunately, like as good as he can be sometimes, he's a bit of a limited performer.
I know because he always protects himself. It's weird. He always tries to protect
safely bumps, which fair enough. Like harsh. He's taken a lot of really harsh bumps and he's had bad injuries in his career, but he's a relatively safe worker.
Yeah, no, he's like definition of a safe worker. It's like every time he always do those moves, like when he gets hits, he makes sure his elbows hits the ring first before anything else. Yeah, so he can level himself. It's weird. But yeah, I mean, I would have rather had Bray Wyatt retain the title. But I don't. Now with this whole House of Horrors, I don't know what the fuck they're doing anymore. I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
It's just going to be like either like a location match, like a boiler room brawl, or it's just going to be like an Ambrose Asylum match. Just
that's what I fear. That's what I fear. I fear that the most. And by God, do not let it be that match. Because I mean, even though I'll give all the credit to the world, I will give all the credit to the world where Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho was able to somehow pull that off. They was able to somehow last that. Like, it was able to somehow make it somewhat entertaining, but at the end of that match, that gimmick itself was just horrible. No.
Yeah, that match was a massive letdown. It could have been great. I mean, it's very rare you have a thumbtack spot.
Yeah, which was, again, good. And props to, again, 46 years old. He has nothing left to prove, and he still took the thumbtacks. So good for him. I mean, but yeah. Now, moving on to I want your opinion on this one. There's a lot of opinions on this one. To me, I'll give you my thoughts after yours, but Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg for the Universal title. What did you think?
Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Brock Lesnar suplex, Goldberg spear, Brock Lesnar suplex again.
That's literally
Goldberg
that sums it up perfectly.
Barricade. Brock Lesnar suplex again. The F5 again.
I mean,
I'm not sure if you noticed that. I don't like Brock Lesnar, but he's 4 minutes. A total of 4 minutes.
To be fair, I said so many times. I said it was going to be less than 5 minutes. And I was correct. I said it was going to be less than 5 minutes. I was expecting to go past 10 seconds. I really personally thought probably was just picking up for that 5 to be over. But they over exceeded my expectations.
Yeah. The thing is that it's longer than either of these two guys. Like, Goldberg can't go longer than 6 minutes.
He couldn't. And
Brock Lesnar barely ever had a match in WWE longer than 90 seconds. And Brock Lesnar, although he has gone longer, he's very limited. Like the triple threat with him, Cena and Seth did all of the work.
And they carried the match. I know that was the whole point. And Brock Lesnar or whatever. Yeah. I mean, I will fully admit. Once Brock Lesnar hit those German suplexes, and then out of nowhere, Goldberg hit the spear. I was like, there is no fucking way they was gonna let Goldberg win this. There is just no fucking way. I legit thought we hit the jackhammer. I was like, okay, they're gonna fucking do it. I was like, they're gonna do it. They're gonna fucking do it. They're gonna make him win again.
I knew going in that Brock Lesnar was gonna win just because it's like.
Oh yeah, I knew too. But like the second he hit the spear and then jack, I was like, okay, maybe not. Maybe not.
So we have to sum up.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, it was. I mean, again, the only pop that I got out of it was when Goldberg literally legit hit that spear after Brock Lesnar hit the German suplex. I did not see that part coming. I personally did not see that part coming.
The only part in that match I popped for was the spear through the barricade.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you see a spear through a barricade spot. What it is, but you see it a lot, but not very much in a match involving Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the prelude to the main event, the 6-pack challenge for the Smackdown. Now, I just want to point this out. I feel like this was punishment for the women because they voiced their opinions on not being on the pre-show. So they said, all right, you don't have to be on the pre-show. Y'all was going to be second to last match, have the least amount of time. That's what they.
like after Lesnar Goldberg, I was like, are they gonna have Roman take?
No, that's why. Yeah, that's
the main event.
No, that's why I legit thought. I legit thought like they canned the women's match.
I thought they canned the women's match. I was like, hang on a second. Are the women going to get the main event at WrestleMania? I would have popped so big if they got the main event.
No,
because first of all, they fucking
until Vince McMahon dies. I'm saying, but that's not until Vince McMahon dies. We probably see once Vince McMahon dies, he will. The Triple H will definitely let that happen. But until Vince McMahon dies, no.
I've got a feeling the women's main event will be the 4 horsewomen.
Oh yeah, of course. That's what it's gonna be. Because Vince McMahon probably thought, he was like, you know what, y'all got Hell in the Cell. They gave us Hell in the Cells. Yeah, that's all y'all getting.
Yeah, but I thought this the Raw Women's match it felt rushed.
It was definitely rushed.
It felt like they were told to go out there, put on an 8-minute match, have like a spot or two, and again like the Raw Women's match. Each respective participant in this match came out looking badass.
Yes.
Mickey James had kind of a Rey Mysterio kind of thing going on, which actually was pretty cool. So people discussing on Twitter, it's like, is this racist? Oh no, she's part Native American. It's fine.
Yes, I know it is fine. Yes.
Alexa Bliss's jacket that she was wearing made her look even more like Harley Quinn than usual, which is quite funny. That's become her logo. It's just her as Harley Quinn. That's quite funny.
I don't know. That's pretty much her. Yeah, no, yeah, you are definitely right about that. I mean,
Becky Lynch look pretty cool, and then like I
love Becky Lynch. I'm a diehard fan.
Suplex to James Ellsworth.
Yeah, I'm a diehard fan. Becky Lynch is my favorite women's wrestler currently in the main roster. Period.
She's so good.
I'm a fangirl. I'm a fangirl for Becky Lynch. I'm not. Everything that she does, I don't care. Perfect. I don't care, Becky Lynch. You just do you. You do nothing wrong, Becky Lynch. You just do you. Go ahead. I personally thought Carmella was going to win the match solely because it would add an interesting scenario with her character with James Ellsworth.
I thought she was going to win it because of Ellsworth.
Yeah, that's my whole point. I was like, that would have did so much of an interesting scenario because the weakest person in this match was Carmella. Everybody else at least had some backbone into like their reasons to women's title match, but it's like Carmella's like the least one. It's like, okay, I'll say maybe she might actually win because again, she has that one factor, which was James Ellsworth, which I legit thought she was gonna win. But I didn't think they were gonna make Naomi win in her hometown. Because when did they ever let somebody win in their hometown? They even let Sasha win in her hometown when at Hell in a Cell. They even let her win it. So it's like
I think.
No, go ahead.
I think it was cool that Naomi won it in her hometown. Won the title back that she never lost. All that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Demand about Naomi though, and that's that she gets rid of the fucking rear view.
Yes, the finish.
I hate that move. It's like that is just a reminder of the bad days of women's wrestling in the WWE, where it was like, bathing suit fucking battle royals and fucking Santa's little helmet battle royals and Halloween battle royals and all that shit. It's like,
it was fucking disgusting.
Get moves that are not at all subtly referenced to women's. Get rid of them.
You're right. I mean, to be fair, she is trying to debut new finishing moves. They saw she had that submission.
The submission looks cool.
Yeah, it does.
I think that. See, the thing is about that is that like, it's going to sound really stupid, but I like the submissions that actually look like they're painful. That doesn't. It looks like she's just pulling her head. But like the bank statement. Like it's kind of like that looks absolutely brutal because it's a backstabber and then rolls into fucking pulling your spine all the way back.
And then the disarmer
looks like Becky's actually,
that's what I said.
Looks like Becky's actually going to rip off your arm.
A perfect example. Remember when Alexa Bliss sold it? She sold it. I don't know how the fuck Alexa Bliss did it. She literally took it out of her socket It made it seem like it was broken.
So it popped it out somehow. I don't know how she did that.
I was like, my fucking God. I did not expect that to actually happen.
And I like that they used it twice. I like that they like made it look like this move it will destroy your arm.
It will.
But I think that I like that Naomi's. I like the more emphasis on submission moves. Like Neville's now using the Rings of Saturn, which is fucking awesome.
Exactly.
And
yeah,
Naomi using a submission move. I just wish she'd get a different one. Like, there are so many other submission moves she could potentially use, but that one just doesn't looks like she like crosses her leg around and just pulls her towards her, which I can see her doing for now.
A variation of like what Carmella does because of her legs, like how like
that's
Carmella
what
does like I'm about to say like I can see do like a variation of that.
The submission
that could look good.
That Carmella and Sam, because the submission that Carmella does is kind of a variation on what Sami Zayn does, and I think that
exactly
slightly better because she's using her leg and is not only pushing like the back part of her knee into her opponent's neck, she's fucking squeezing it, and it looks really good.
Exactly. That's why I say like yes, like they could give her like a variation of that, and that would look good for Naomi.
But the women's match I think to me felt really short. Felt too. I think it was really nice that the women were on the show,
the main show. Yeah.
I just wish they'd. I mean, quite frankly, I wouldn't have minded if for another half an hour, and that sounds crazy. Considering I was complaining at the start of this that I was about the 7 hour.
And that's why I love this brand split. I love this brand split because it gives women an opportunity. I don't think this is an interesting thing that people don't realize. The Elimination Chamber, that the women had more than 2 matches on the show. There was 3 women's matches. Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. That women had more than 3 matches on the show. That was legit the first time.
There was 3 women. Crazy.
And that really is insane when you think about it. It's like, so let me get this straight. No, go ahead.
Is that it's even? It's an even split. Like where, for example, say you have 4 women's, 4 men's. Now, obviously, that's difficult because there are less women on the roster.
Exactly.
I completely get that. So if it's 7 men's and 3 women's, I'm perfectly fine with that. That's great. The women are getting opportunities on the big shows.
Yeah, that's why.
I was going to say is that.
No, go ahead.
If I would have been okay if the show had gone another half an hour, but the Raw and SmackDown Women's title matches have got a little bit longer to, get some more action and to like really prove themselves.
Well, hopefully we'll see that with like Payback and Backlash. Their next 2. Well, the next Raw pay-per-view is Payback, and last SmackDown pay-per-view is Backlash. So that should be interesting. Now,
right, the depressing part of the show where we talk about Roman Reigns versus Undertaker.
Now, again, and I know you're about to leave, so we're not even getting to the match. I could give 2 shits about the match. I personally, as you know, it's been a week. I legit have no opinion on the match. I really don't. What I want to hear your thoughts on is what happens after the match. What are your thoughts on that?
Taker.
Yeah.
The thing is that with the Undertaker has been, the Brock Lesnar was the undefeatable one at WrestleMania, and then it's quite emotional to see not the Undertaker but the man Mark Calloway walk away from the ring for probably the last time, and the break of character and
yes, that's what really did it for me. That's what really did it for me.
But thank you, not even thank you, Taker. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark Calloway. Thank you, Undertaker. Is partly what got me into wrestling. Great.
I mean, Undertaker again. Undertaker is the reason why I only watch wrestling. He's the first superstar I saw literally on screen anything related to wrestling.
Yeah.
I walked down the steps. I always remember this. I walked down steps one day as a child. My mom, for some strange reason, she had the TV on. and I forgot what Raw episode this was. It was like around 1999. I see Undertaker versus Stone Cold. I know it was an episode of Raw too, but this is Undertaker Stone Cold. That was the first time I seen the Undertaker. I think really the wrestling in general. And ever since then, I was hooked. Undertaker was like on the Ministry of Darkness at the point. I was interested in this character, and it was like over the years, I just see this guy. You know, yeah, I mean, I seen him through his American Badass days, and and then when he got back to Deadman, just over the year, I just see this guy who was like, no matter what you throw at, like the reason why I like him most is just it's just his thing of like, no matter what you throw at him, he will come. You know, it's funny because his character is a heel character. His whole dead persona, it's a heel character, but it's like you just can't not. It's like you can't dislike him for what he does because it's like no, go ahead.
Ministry of Darkness, like kidnapping Stone Cold and Stephanie. That was a heel. But even when people think of that, like that's a stage of the Undertaker, and we love him.
It's like he's one of the few superstars that I think he's the only superstar that surpassed his character. He went beyond it's not even Undertaker the Dead Man. He's just the Undertaker. It's not Undertaker American Badass. Undertaker he literally is just the Undertaker.
Yeah.
He's that,
well, something I found
go ahead.
Interesting is that every other member of the roster, or most members of the roster, I'm not sure if Brock does, but every other member of the roster has like social media accounts, has like Twitter and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. The only thing Undertaker has got is Facebook, and that's controlled by like I know, yeah. It's controlled by someone in WWE.
Yeah, Undertaker has no social media,
which is really interesting.
He is legit. Now I know
he's got the mindset of kayfabe. He wants to keep kayfabe alive because he's an old school guy. Even though kayfabe is pretty much dead. He is
literally the only current day superstar, even though it's over now. He was literally the only current day superstar who had a character. Everybody now I know superstars have all their characters are just literally just extensions off their real life personalities. Undertaker is literally the only superstar that kept his character since 1990 and let it go through this years. That's like wow. It's like again, like all the other superstars, they're just literally just extensions off their personality. It's like their character is really just them, just times their personality times 100. That's just them. But Undertaker is literally a character that was able to stood past the time itself. A gimmick that you probably would have never thought would even work. And look what it became. The streak was never meant to be a thing, but it became more important than the world title at WrestleMania. It's like only one person could have pulled that off, and that was him. He stuck to this character to the very end. To the very end. And what makes me, well, first of all, before I get to this point, what makes me cry, I just want to show you this picture. I'm pretty sure you've seen on social media. If you haven't, I'm just going to show you this picture.
Is it his gear left in the ring?
No, not this picture. Just this picture that somebody drew up. I just want to show you.
What I was going to say is that
yeah, I know the interesting thing about his gear that people, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're about to say it too. Is that it's literally the last thing that they took when they were leaving. Like they left it there.
And that's like all credit to him. Like he's like Mick Foley. He wrestled for extreme pain. He's been putting off a hip replacement for years now.
Just to
keep wrestling, and it's like fair play to the guy for.
Yeah. I just want to let me just get this.
Extreme pain.
Let me just get this picture. This one right here. I'm about to show it to you on the screen. Really just sums up how I feel about this. Even though I wasn't born in this year, it does sum up my point though. You see it?
Yeah.
1990 welcome, and then 2017.
Years ago.
It's like I know even though I'm not gonna say I've been there through his whole career, because I wasn't born yet, but ever since when I first started wrestling, that was the first guy I saw, and I'm glad that I'm just happy that I was able to see it live. That's why I'm just glad that happened. You don't know how pissed I would have been. This was like I missed WrestleMania. I just missed this match. I was debating on falling asleep too, I'm just so glad I saw this.
Yeah, I mean, even though I slept through it, I'm. This is going to sound weird, but I'm that I got to see the career of the Undertaker. I'm got to see that his final few years in the business that he loves.
Yes, I mean, again, as I kept saying, he's legit my idol. This was the guy I looked up to more than anybody. This was the guy to me. He was the guy that made it seem like I could do it, like anything's possible in a weird way. I know it seems weird, but it's just to me, like it's just because like his character like literally stood through the test of time. Like his term, like his character being buried alive or getting cast set on fire. He kept coming back. Nothing could.
It's a real credit to Mark Calloway that he managed to keep the character relevant through times where now it's like very realistic characters, and now it's like he kept the character relevant and he kept it like people engaged.
It's funny because it's like what did it for. It's like I knew it was over. A part of me knew it was over. It was because it was the last match. I knew something was weird about that. I knew something. I was like, why put this as the last match? And then what did it for me is after, even though Roman Reigns already left, it was a weird thing where it's like they cut the Undertaker still on the ground and they show all these replays and then they just show next thing you see Undertaker back in his gear. That's when I knew it was over. At that point, I was like, oh god damn. And I was not. It's funny because it's like, again, it's been like a week. It wasn't until it happened on Sunday. It wasn't until Tuesday where it like legit hit me. Like he was done. It took a couple days for it to finally set in, but like once it hit me, it was like I was almost like in my I was sitting here on my computer, like I was like just thinking about it. I was about to like legit go in tears, just thinking about it. It took it till Tuesday, but it was just it's just all that just sunk in for me. It's like the guy my idol, my hero, the guy that I watched for pretty much my whole life. It's gone. Now, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was WrestleMania. Like I said, I'm not even going to talk about the match because the match itself wasn't really compared to what happened after the match. This is more important in my opinion. So I'm not even going to talk about the match itself. Is whatever. But yeah, that did it for me. But yeah, I think this is a good place to wrap it up. Thank you again, BlackAreaGaming. Finally, we got that. Like, we finally got part two. The the interview I've been waiting for most of getting that part two out the way. So now we finally got it. Before we go, anything you want to plug or anything you want to plug to you guys?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me. It's been be on these 2 episodes. And
yes.
I hope to work with you much more in the future, collabs and that kind of stuff. And I just want to say that keep an eye on my channel for the Alphabet of Steam to be up hopefully in the next couple of days.
Well, yes, even though, because again, this is the second episode, he was already on previously. So he's already, BlackAreaGaming is already on my channel recommendation. So just click on my channel, on my main channel page. You go to the right section, you see recommended channel, BlackAreaGaming. He's been there ever since I had him on. So check out his channel is right there, the easy way. Also, his channel will be in the link in the description of this video anyway. So another way to reach him. Otherwise, great talk again. This is Crater signing out. Catch you guys later. See ya.
Thanks so much, guys.